We've got one
This
shot.
is absolutely spectacular.
We've only got one shot. We've got one shot, one shot. Do you feel alive? We've got
What
one
race
shot,
we
one
are
shot.
watching here.
We've got one shot. Do you feel alive? Get in.
Threading the eye of the needle with surgical-like
We won't
precision.
back down to feel alive. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot. We've only got one shot.
It's an outstanding overtake.
We gotta do it right to feel alive. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot.
Welcome to Creator Series Season 30.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Creator Series. We are back, baby, and it's Season 13, Round 7, and we are going to Hungary, and we cannot wait for this. This is going to be a banger. Not much battery management to think about. It's just going to be our drivers giving it all, and throughout the years when we have been to Hungary, it has been especially spicy. I cannot wait to see the championship is spicing up, talking about that. Ben and Gillen are getting very close, and it's only going to get better all the way to the end, and we cannot wait. We hope you've enjoyed your Saturday. Hope you enjoyed the real-life Hungary qualifying session. It's now time to go to Creator Series, because we have a great night in store for you. All right, let's get introduced to some of the people that we're going to be seeing tonight. With us on the Clipbook Corner, we do have Mr. John Harris. Welcome in, my friend. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. The qualifying was certainly interesting today,
Yeah.
and especially the penalty that we've had after it. And
Yes.
one thing to introduce, I guess, this track is the fact that qualifying is very, very important, like it is in real life.
Well, they say it's like Monaco without walls. For anyone that doesn't know, what was the penalty that's happened in the real life? Let us know, John.
A 3 grid place slot for Lewis Hamilton, sadly, because of, I think it was impeding Oscar Piastri, if I read
Yeah.
it correctly.
a
Unfortunate,
bit.
but it was a slam dunk,
Yeah,
let's
I
be
mean,
honest.
Yeah, it was one of those ones, right? It's always going to happen. Yeah, no, I love it. All right, so that's what we've got to look forward to in real life F1 tomorrow. But let's get it right back into Creator Series on the DLC F1 26, which, to be fair, has been quite fun. I won't lie. This racing's been all right. Last week, we definitely had quite an interesting race. Let's look at the race results that we had from last week. GB68 back on top, doing what he does best. Very nice to see him back up there. Lolinova in second place, return to form as well for him. Gillen in third place, Mr. Consistent so far of the season, doing very well. Razin in P4, Ricky P5, we had Ryan P6, Team Marduk in P7, needs to a little bit better than that if he wants to keep up at the top. Kareem in 8th place, Fabio in 9th, typical Fabio things, and Concept 7 was in 10th, John.
In P11, it was Tom 97, followed by Grid Jokes. They had quite a tussle during the race, that's for sure. That guy Vince, P13, won't be happy with that one, but he's looking to make amends today, and I tell you what, he's been practicing for this one, so maybe he'll be a guy to ride up the order at the moment. With Dave Gaming in P14 and P15 going to Fimex. And it's safe to say that these guys have been having battles all throughout the season, so we can't wait to see what they have in store in the midfield. Meraki P16, followed by Matt 212, two drivers who will hope to get up the order as well. Chappers not having an easy drive last time out in P18. P19 for Safzo with Tuki in P20. P22 and P21, sorry, Hebrides and Blue Fox, and they did not have a good race with multiple wing damages, that's for sure.
Exactly. Okay, well said. What we have tonight, though, we have some things to say. GB60 will not be racing tonight, so this is definitely a chance for someone else to get the win tonight. We have Gwatz out, Fimex out, we have Sanderson out. He couldn't handle the pressure, so he's not here this week, and we have Mango out as well. All right, let's bring everyone into the screens for me, Gareth, if you can, because it's time to talk to Carl and Tom. Carl, welcome. You, my friends, have a lot of new corner names to learn tonight, don't you?
Oh, too many, honestly. And some of them are in very weird taste, which we shall be discussing, don't you worry. I'm so excited for this race, though. I think back to last season, the battle annoyingly is not here, but just reminiscing on Karim and Lolinoba's battle. Me being in Clipboard Corner, I hardly got a word in last time out. And it's great because it's one of these tracks where battery management isn't such a problem. You can go 10 bells with so many of the drivers. You can send it absolutely everywhere you want. We're going to see some great racing out there tonight.
Yeah, you get a good point there, because I'm looking at people like Vince, who's not been the biggest fan of the battery management on this race. Do you think he can maybe pull something a bit extra special tonight, Tom? Are we looking at everyone tonight going, do you know what? We don't need to think about battery anymore.
There's an opportunity for someone. We need to remember Vince got pole here last season. I think he ended up in P3 behind Lolly and Cream. So he's got a bit of form, even though this season he's not been great. Maybe same for somebody like Safso as well, who hasn't scored in the last 2 races, not been very good in qualifying in particular. So you feel like with some drivers towards the front, GB probably along with Razin, the fastest driver in the series this season. Kareem's been a bit up and down, but his raw pace has been pretty strong. Opportunity for somebody to make a run, whether it's Tim McMarlick and Alex Gillen to pull further clear at the top of the championship or somebody else to come from the middle of the pack. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and last week we didn't have any safety cars for one of the first times I ever remember, John. If you were a betting man, John, do you think we're going to see the same tonight?
No. I mean, Hungaroring is pretty guaranteed we'll have a safety car. I mean, there's a lot of heavy braking, and especially turn 1, really. You have to send it on the battery and just getting the slipstream. So there's someone that's going to overcook it. It's just a guessing game of who will that be. So I think this track will suit drivers that have just raw pace, because battery management is a bit more like F1 25 cars. So you can send it a little bit more. So it will be interesting to see who has that advantage.
Yeah, exactly. I always reminisce of the Verstappen getting air. Was it last year? Him and Hamilton, I think it was. Will we see any of our drivers getting airborne tonight? I wouldn't be too surprised. Okay, everyone in chat, please let us know who you think is going to win the race, and call to arms as always. We take our Saturday nights very seriously here at Creator Series, and we do it all for you. On our social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, all of the above, you get to see behind the scenes footage every week and get some of the best moments from each race. You need to be followed to us all to see that. So tell your friends, get following, get liking, get all of these things. It really, really helps. It helps more people get to know who we are, and it only helps the series get bigger and bigger and bigger. We're worldwide, baby. Now, that's right. Like, we weren't always worldwide. This is it now. This is absolutely banging. Okay, we're looking like we're going to be going to the race any second. Very, very quick. Carl, Tom, and John. Carl first. Who's winning tonight?
Oh, I'm going to say it's someone new. I'm going to put Lolinoba's name in the ring. He's got affinity around Hungary. I think it's long overdue.
Oh, I love it. Mr. Wilkinson.
Similar thought process. If it's not going to be Lolly, I'll say it's going to be Razin.
Okay, I like it. I like it. And Mr. Harris?
I'll go for Kareem. Why not?
Okay.
He's not
I
here.
love it.
That's going to be
he's not
impressive if he
here.
wins.
That's a shame.
That's brilliant.
Oopsie.
Well, quickly, one more.
Alex Gillen, there you go.
Love it. I'm doing it. We're going to see history tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Fabio, Mr. Infratic, is going to win tonight. All right, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you have a banging qualifying session. Carl and Tom, take it away.
Thank you kindly, Scott. Welcome, everyone. Qualifying just loading in. A big leg up there for the Portuguese man of war, potentially, to take the race win today. Who knows? There's ever a fabulous fairy tale around the corner. In fact, the many corners of Hungary that me and Mr. Tom Wilkinson have to learn. Tom, this is going to be an interesting qualifying session, like we alluded to. They don't have to worry too much about this whole lift and coast malarkey. They can push it to the limit. They're putting more energy through the tyres. It really is a driver's qualifying session out there.
Yeah, we're returning to something a little bit more instinctive, a little bit more natural for the drivers. They can push on it, lean on it a little bit more. We don't have to manage quite as much, which I think for them driving and for us watching, that's what we prefer to see, right? We'd rather see 100% rather than being generous, maybe 75, 80% that we see a lot of the time on this game. So a chance for us to go back to what I think we're all used to and what we prefer and what we'll hopefully see more of in 27.
Couldn't agree more with you. And also, just to wind the clock back to last week as well, if you haven't seen the Belgian Grand Prix, highly recommend you go and watch it. It was a hell of a race, particularly that first stint, where everyone was swapping around with the battery. Complete contrast to what we have here. GB ultimately taking the win, but the variety of strategy without that safety car was splendid to see.
Yeah, and I wonder if we'll almost see the same thing, but for the opposite reason this week. It'll be interesting to see what the dynamic is. Obviously, like you mentioned, battery is not going to be anywhere near more of an issue, but can we see drivers getting a little bit more creative with it? Can we see a few more dive bomb moves like we saw in the early races this year as drivers were getting up to speed with the way that the cars work, with the way that the racecraft needs to work in these cars with the battery management as well? So I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of tactics are on show and what kind of dynamics will unfold as we go through it.
First of all, though, to tick off the list of Creator Series gubbins, it is the Fisherman's Friend, the wet tyre pole lap. And first to the track is my shoo-in for the race win, lolling over, Italian Stallion, donning the American car of Cadillac. He's got ever so close. Belgium was just an encapsulation of that. Hasn't quite materialised, maybe luck hasn't fallen on his side because the pace has definitely been there, but it's sometimes just been wrong place, wrong time for him.
And when you look at him, in this case, doing some lawn mowing across the 610 chicane.
Across driving centre.
The fact that across driving centre it's not the worst set of corner names on the circuit. We'll have to get to that in due course. But
yes.
The fact that he's had so much bad luck is it's been embroiled in instance that a decent number of them haven't necessarily been his fault. And he's only 19 points back at the halfway stage in the championship. I think that's quite ominous considering the flashes of pace that we've seen. Similar to somebody like Razin, who has got 3 poles so far this season in 6 races, but only converted 1 of them and only been on the podium twice. So I feel like the second half of this season could be very different to what we've seen so far.
An ever sinister situation. As Tom quite rightly says, a long, long way to go in this season. Out of the final corner, I'll take the first half of the corner names. Tom Wilkinson will very kindly take the second half. We're on board with Lolin over for a ride around the Hungaroring, and first corner is called PK, a reminder of his world-class overtake here at the inaugural race in 1986, around the outside, practically sideways. They then thought, what's a great name for corner 2? I know, Hamilton, which if you know the history between PK and Hamilton, you'll probably think, not a great idea. You think that's bad, turn 3. This one's called Spring. Okay, moving on now towards Mansell Corner in 1990, I believe it was. Managed to absolutely dupe Senna. Brilliant move. He made the move just before that corner round Mogurod, one of the few Hungarian corner names. And then we have the turn 6, 7 chicane of driving centre. Before we move on, some very creative names, Tom.
Yeah, the tank was clearly running dry here. We go through turn 8, Buda. If you know the track name, you know what's going to come next for turn 9. It's Budapest. Buda and Pest turns 9 and 10, or turns 8 and 9, sorry. And then we go through the Duna Danube, of course, the river that's just around the corner. Then through a Lacey who crashed here. That's why he's got notoriety around this circuit. Michael Schumacher corner, we're expecting, probably not to be Ralph Schumacher. Let's be honest, no criticism there. Another former champion, Senna into the penultimate corner. And then into 14, we discussed this off broadcast. We're trying to work out how you pronounce it, but the closest we could get is like an electrical zapping sound, like you've just been electrocuted or tasered. It's like...
Comprehensive from Tom Wilkinson, who now is going to take a moment to recover as Lolinoba sets the pace for 1 minute 22.893. Safso shy of a second off that. We already have a spin. It's Dave Gaming going for some perpetual pirouetting at the final corner. Gets back on his wheel tracks. That guy Vince nowhere near the benchmark set by Lolinoba. He's over a second away. Dave Gaming is well above the 107% rule. That's not very good. Meraki is about to start his wet weather time. Will cross the line with plenty of time to set it and potentially have a shoe-in at an extra point. Rasin Chai, again, just warming up the car, getting the tyres in the window, or maybe just honing in his craft. Either way, he's got time to set a lap. Test Will goes into P5, reserving for Karim in the Audi. Massive snap of oversteer for Blue Fox. Very reminiscent to what we saw in real life, but that's what we're going to see even on the dry tyres. As you reach the end of the lap, the rear tyres in particular are screaming for resuscitation. It's vital you save them.
Low grip circuit, add on top of that the fact that it's high temperature and you're putting a lot of load through those rear tyres. Very, very tricky traction zone coming through that final corner where, like you said, screaming for a bit of mercy. But Lolinoba, miles clear at the moment as Alex Gillen slots in the yawning chasm that had formed between himself and the rest of the pack. Was Tom 97, now Gillen on a 23.2. Tim at Marcavella, second back in P8, 24.3. Not brilliant. And Razin there on a 32.1. Trying to go again, you would imagine, with just over 60 seconds remaining. Ricky out there spoiling our fun on the soft compound tyres, fastest obviously in the middle sector and fast in the first sector and in the final sector. Thanks for ruining it for us, Ricky. But let's go for a 16.1, which, as you can probably expect, will be the benchmark for a little while.
Indeed, it will be. Meraki through the final corner. 45 seconds of the Fisherman's Friend to tick through. Can he get it? Wet weather pole? No, he cannot. P4, P3 of the wet weather times. That means it is set in stone. Lolinoba takes the extra point, and that is the perfect way to start the Hungaroring weekend. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, Razin did go again, but he was only P7 there, 23.6, and it's difficult. We saw in real life he could get a couple of laps out of the soft tyres, but with these wet tyres in particular, you're not really going to be wanting to use them for more than one lap. You're not going to be wanting to use them for the rest of the weekend, you'd have to say, unless we do see a little bit of moisture in the rain. But that is quite the statement from Lolly to put down straight away, and as the clock will tick towards the official point where he is given that extra championship point, he has won the challenge of who can be the wettest in the dry qualifying.
Things you cannot hear on Sky Sports, ladies and gentlemen. That also marks his 4th wet weather tyre pole time of the season. He's cleaned house more than 50% of the times. Otherwise, it's relatively spread out. 1 point for Rasen Chai, 1 point for GB, and then another point going by the wayside elsewhere. But Lolin Ober is cleaning up in that department. Excellent stuff, and more points on the board. Every little helps. 4th in the championship, was 1 point off Tom 97. Now it's even Stevens on 89. But now we come to the second stanza, and by far even more cutthroat, and that's the soft tyres, where you have so much more grip at your disposal. Let those purple times fly on in, but don't lose focus too much. You'll be caught dazzled by the purple colours, the vibrancy of your sector times, but you can throw it all away in an instant.
And Scotty just trying to find the rhythm here as we see Hayden Gullis eating his dinner, trying to work out what it is. Is that curry? Is that some kind of naan bread that he's potentially trying to wipe something up with? We'll have to get the reviews on that one as we turn from Creator Series into Master Chef. But Scotty was a little bit messy in the middle sector, especially into the 6-7 chicane. Didn't trouble the apex of the first part at all as he comes to the final couple of corners, not with his usual teammate. Test Will, like you said earlier in that Audi, making a return for the first time, I think, in the F1 26 DLC. But Scotty to the line, Ricky with a benchmark of a 16.1. Scotty 17 flat, little bit away from that Scarlet Ferrari time.
Was it a curry? What kind of cuisine was it? We are none the wiser, as Scotty Designs, by the way, goes P2 for the moment. However, those times will flood in thick and fast. We have Tukey going through the second to last corner. Alpine up ahead, about to start their lap time potentially, or it might well be Dave Gaming. I can only assume it is. That guy Vince on an out lap, crossing the line. It will be that guy Vince starting a lap as Tukey completes a lap and is 3rd place, just over a 10th behind Mr. Scotty Designs, by the way. Grid Jokes, though, through a Lacey corner, not doing an Lacey, if you know, you know. Through the Schumacher corner, clip the curb on the inside, none of that pesky gravel on the outside to disrupt the flow of the car. You keep that rhythm maintained through the penultimate corner. It's all about flow through here, but those left-hand side tyres will be feeling the pain.
Fastest sector 1 by just under a 10th. Fastest sector 2 by just under 2 tenths. Should be into the 15s, and we are. And that is, with half the session to go, the brand new benchmark for everybody to chase. Gridjoke's first to dip his toes into that 115s.
Still many drivers in that top 10. Still ready and waiting to pull the trigger out of the pit lane. London Ober's just started an outlap. We've got King Cryptics. Well, he's going to lay down the letter of the law in his camp, and it's 5th place, 21.5. Plenty of time in the tank. Cadillac currently a 5.6. Stop the count as we're about to breach the fulcrum point of this qualifying session. Sapso was on a lap. An invalidation, though, will mean he has to regroup, recharge, but it's so easy to regroup and recharge around the Hungaroring. You hardly have any space to deploy the electrical energy as through PK corner he goes for his first, hopefully valid time in anger in this session as that guy Vince finds his affinity with the Hungaroring. He's up to P2, exactly what he needs to really kickstart his season for good. Using the curve on the inside, you can see how much grip and rotation it gave him. That's going to compromise him now all the way up towards turn number 4. Flick the car in as much as possible. A brief kiss of the curb on the inside, and now you just flow it on through towards the driving centre.
It's not a good first sector for Saf, so 6 tenths down from where he needs to be. We saw it was a bit clumsy, a bit messy through turn number 2 as London Over fastest in the middle sector. Matt 212 up to P4 and a 16.4. Safso qualifying, only been inside the top 10 once this season. In the last 4 races, hasn't started higher than 16th. So needs to try and find some performance from somewhere, but with the middle sector that's decent if unspectacular as well. Lolly 15.5 to the top of the timing charts for the reigning champion. Safso needs to just try and find something from somewhere.
Scorcher from Lolin Over. Safso, Scuderia Ferrari, absolutely right. Got to extract every single ounce of pace through the final corner. More times flooding, Testwell and Chappers, 6th and other place. Safso then sandwiches himself between the two of them. That's much more like it. Sparks, not too far away either. Timet Marduk had an absolute rotter of a wet weather lap time. He's going to try and put that wrong very much right here, but it's only good enough for P10. The championship leader currently struggling at the Hungaroring, which is not where he needs to be. Tukey displaces him down to 11th, up to 9th for the Red Bull driver, and we saw such a swing at the Belgian Grand Prix. Gap now down to just a few points. We could see that swing even more viciously today.
Yeah, middle sector, lost 8/10 to Lolly in the middle part of the lap. Most technical part of the lap. There's a car off, you can see there, I think, into turn number 5. Maybe one of the Cadillacs or the Haas cars going slowly. We can't tell because the dots are the same colour. Thank you, EA, for that one. Chapper's there in P10, just behind Tukey. Sparks jumping in as a reserve for Adam Sanderson as well, just behind Safsos. Ryan Lady 3 has been really strong in qualifying recently. On the odd occasion, the faster of the two McLarens over one. That pops himself up into P5 there on a 16-1.
Thought Ryan, actually, because he's shifted gears in a dramatic way. Think back to last season, with the best will in the world to Ryan, I can't remember when he was properly fighting up a particularly sharp end of the top 10 as, hello Scott Taylor, what are you doing here, mate? Welcome. Well, as I was saying, Ryan L83, you think to when his Riccio 3 might improve? Yes, he does. P3, great lap there. Good chunk of improvement. Ryan's really found his rhythm, though. He's developed that flow. It's absolutely fabulous, and he's looking the stronger of the two McLaren drivers, particularly in recent rounds.
P3 in Austria, P6 in Silverstone a couple of weeks ago. Didn't qualify in Spa, started from the back of the grid, but is looking really hooked up over one. If he can stop getting corner cutting penalties in the race, then he might give himself a decent chance of getting some even better points. Finished ahead of Ben last week in Spa, I think he was. P6 for Ryan, P7 for Ben after a bit of a scruffy one. Here is Meraki, former two-time champ, rounding the final corner. Had a stinker last week in Spa, only P16. To the line we go with Jake, and it's P2 onto the front row provisionally.
Much more like it. Pendulum shifts, topsy-turvy affair. Speaking of which, men at work from a land down under. It's Tiamat Marduk on another lap. Same set of tyres. Map 212 improves by 1/10 of a second. 118. You can claim insurance on that lap because P7 is nothing to turn your snout up at. Where's the McLaren driver? Keeping an eye on his sectors. It's a personal best in the first sector. As Ryan L83, both McLarens going for 2 laps on the same set of tyres. That's a brave call, seeing if they will last and go the distance. As through PK corner he goes. Fabio's just moved up to P7. Good lap there from Scott Schuin for the win. Portuguese man of war. Apex Predator, although not attacking that one with any impetus because he doesn't need to. Happy days. That guy Vince on an outlap. Again, keeping an eye on the McLaren, the championship leaders sectors. Again, another personal best. Still half a second down on where he needs to be, though.
Yeah, sector 1 looks all right. Only lost, what, 100th of a second to Loninover. He was a couple of tenths down on Jake, who has the fastest first sector. But Ben to the line under the Kosh here. 14th up to P8, 16-2. Still behind his teammate. Got Fabio and Vince just up the road as well. Little bit of pressure now on our championship leader as Rasen pops up into the top 4.
Many more 15s being found. The 16 barrier being breached. Tom 97 could definitely be another one of those drivers to breach through that barricade at an alarming rate of knots. Final corner, flick the wheel in. Car just about complies. You can see it trying to complain. Mid-corner slides and snaps. It's ever so subtle, but it's P7 for Tom 97 by a millisecond. But every margin counts. Ryan L83 retreating to the pit lane. Has plenty of time to find. Bailed out of his second time on the same set of tyres. Tom 97 still with some pace to find out there.
Still waiting for Alex Gillen as well, who is out there and I believe pushing 27-1 through the first sector. Not particularly quick, third of a second down on where he needs to be. Qualified 10th and 11th in the last couple of races. So he needs to try and get back up to the top 5 where he was in each of the previous 4 qualifying sessions. So an interesting little drop off there from Alex, who's been one of these drivers to change his qualifying tyre strategy because we have to use all 3 dry compounds plus the threat of a late race safety car. Realistically, drivers want 2 brand new sets of the soft tyres to use at some point in the race, which means they want to get through qualifying using just 1. And if that means they start a little bit further down the order, then so be it.
Absolutely right. Qualifying, not necessarily the biggest focus that the drivers should have. It's all about that race, particularly when you have to use one of every single compound. As Tom's alluded to quite rightly, Alex Gillen, 17.3, nowhere near the qualifying benchmark. I hear gasps of exasperation, excuse me, in the background. He did catch up to traffic in the final sector, so he might well cool it down and go again. Looking at his sector times, I can't really, I'm trying to figure out where it's mainly in that second sector. He lost a second through that middle part of the lap. So a horrendous Hungarian state of affairs for the Haas.
As we've got Safso into the gravel. Somebody's thrown it in the wall. That's Fabio who's given up on the ghost, 16-2. So 9th at best for Fabio, yet to start inside the top 10 this season. So that'll be a nice change of water for himself. He can hover around that place, but still with some quick drivers yet to put in a real punchy lap time with just under 2.5 minutes to go. But Gillen in P20, yes, his middle sector was poor. His final sector was okay. The traffic means that there's still a little bit of time on the table. Lost 6/10 to Lonanoba in the final part of the lap. But under pressure, and this is the problem you have if you don't get a decent banker lap in, you're treading on eggshells, aren't you, for your final lap of the session. And there's your provisional pole sitter, Lonanoba, picking up a 5-place grid penalty. And suddenly that changes the entire complexion of this session as well. He's just come out of the pits, blocked one of the McLarens. I think that's Ryan Lady 3. Problems now for the Italian stallion.
Thin ice being trodden on, up and down the field. Not necessarily names you're expecting down the field. Alex Gillen now in 21st place. He's going to cross the line and start another flying lap. He has to. He's got no choice, even if he has taken the best out of the tyres. That second sector needs some serious sprightliness. Through PK corner, descending down through the Hamel turn, which I'm now going to coin. Flick the wheel in, hug the inside, line of least resistance and least distance. John, we've got our man in Clipper corner. Eyes amusing, saying Alex's car sliding horrifically bad. On his point of view, you can see hardly turning the wheel, the rear end complaining all the way through. So either a very aggressive setup or just Alex Gillen not gelling with Hungary whatsoever through the chicane. Listen to how tentative he had to be, clattering over 1 and 2 curbs. Again, not going all-out attack because just there's no trust in the car. Confidence moves mountains, and he is seriously struggling out there. The last sector's going to be critical.
No improvement sector 1, no improvement sector 2. Alex Gillen cut short his camping trip to be back for this, and he might be about to, for the first time ever, officially pick up the wooden spoon in qualifying. Back of the car steps out again through the final corner. Alex Gillen, last as things stand, needs to have the almightiest of sector 3s to pick himself up here. What can the former two-time champion do? 22nd,
oh my God,
stays 22nd. Alex Gillen's going to start last.
There's some song going round in TMF Marduk's chat at the moment. I think it goes something like Gillen in the mud, I won't carry it on. As meanwhile, here is Miss Benjamin Daly, Australian sensation. He's on his final flying lap. He's got the widest smile in the world, according to the Guinness World Book of Records, as he heads through the Hamel turn for his final time in qualifying. Lonanoba is also out there on his final flying lap of the session. It's the final flurry. Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in, because this just got ever more sweet and spicy. 12 thousandths up through the first sector. Map 212 will cut the beam 3/10 up. It's going to be good enough for P7. Great improvement there. Every single margin you can find will be meteoric. Tom 97, he spent his joker too early. He has to retreat to the pit lane, but third place is not bad going. Test wheel up to P10. Good improvement there. Can Lonanoba fine time? He improved in the first sector. Nothing in the second. Yes, he can. An improvement in the final sector. All he needs. Ryan L83 into the 50s. Up to P7. And now we wait with bated breath for the second McLaren of TMF Marduk as Ricky will cross the line. Where does he go? P4. Great lap there.
Ben finding time, improvement first sector, improvement middle sector. Still not great though. Championship leader 14th, second in the championship, starting last. Ben to the line does get a decent final sector to go P7, just ahead of his teammate. Dakovic hasn't been great in qualifying, doesn't improve either. Still just ahead of his teammate Dave Gamey. Scotty gets the disqualification out of the way. But quite a lot of tales to tell there. Lonanoba with pole position by a quarter of a second as well. 3/10 in fact over Meraki, but he's got a 5-place grid penalty, and on pure pace, Alex Gillen's qualified last.
I'm absolutely, my jaws hit the floor. You can't quite believe it almost. Alex Gillen licking his wounds as he peels into pit row. My goodness me. The championship chaser starts from the back row of the grid. Lucky not to start last had it not been for Scotty Designs, by the way, charitable disqualification. Goodness gracious me. Well, TMF Marduk, like I say, has got a smile as wide as the circumference of his own head, which is quite something for the championship leader. However, no one can answer the queries of this man. On pure pace, Lonanoba ticks all the boxes. But when penalties are applied, Meraki is on pole position.
Really weird one. First time Lonanoba's qualified at the top of the timing charts, but he won't stay there for the race. We bump back down into P6, and you mentioned it earlier, his qualifying record's so weird. Taking a load of intermediate poles, and it's been the first time he's qualified fastest, and he doesn't even get to start there.
Lonanoba P1, but won't keep it. So it will be Meraki on pole with Tom 97 joining him on the front row. Ricky 03 in P3. Grid Jokes in 4th. Rassen in 5th with Lolly in 6th. McLaren 7th and 8th with Matt 212 and that guy Vince rounding out the top 10. But the big news in qualifying, Alex Gillen is nearly plumb last.
Absolutely incredible. What on earth have we just seen, John? We just seen Gillen officially in the mud. He'll say he's doing a last to first, but we all know absolutely crazy scenes. Now, John, I think you were watching a little bit of Gillen's lap. Can you talk us through what you noticed?
Yeah, well, first start, what I noticed at the end of his lap is that his tyre wear was horrendous. 25% wear on the rear tyres after only 2 flying laps, effectively. So if he carries that setup into the race, I think he might need a 5-stop, which is not ideal. Maybe they don't even have enough tyres to do a 5-stop. Moving on from that, it was oversteering everywhere. I mean, I've seen more stable rally setups, and that says a lot, to be fair. Just no traction out of the corners, no speed on the apex even. He was trying to clip the curbs. You have to do that in Hungary, and as soon as he hit the curbs, it was just bouncing the car out of the apex, and so he's having to back off and not able to go on throttle. It was just a disaster, really. So something to look into on terms of the setup. I don't really know what he can do at this point. He can't exactly back out and go and test for half an hour, so you know, he's kind of stuck. But the good news for him is that the only way is up, and you've got to go with that mentality. It's going to be a little difficult, I mean, but there you go. He's good at what he does, so maybe he can do it.
Oh, but positivity there. I love that. It was so bad, it can only get better. I love that. No, you're right. We have Park Fermi on, as far as I'm aware, in this series, so he is absolutely in the bin. Love to see it. We're going to see the true Gillen here. We're going to see a proper comeback, and we'll just see what he can do with it. Yeah, very, very interesting qualifying session. Not too much to look at clips-wise, obviously, but there was some sort of... Okay, Lolly Nova, unlucky, right? Gets the P1 and has a grid penalty. I'm sure that was probably some sort of glitch in the game, because I've seen it happen a few times before. But I have a weird feeling we're going to have a banging race. Did you notice from P4 to P14, 4/10, John? 4/10 was the difference there. That's insane.
It's crazy, and I just can't wait to see what that means for the race, because you're going to have to try something ambitious to get some overtakes done, perhaps. I know with the battery and all of that, but at some point you can't use that advantage all the time. You might get overtaken again. So it's interesting as well in qualifying that Italian-affiliated drivers seems to get penalties at Hungary, but there you go. That's obviously a weird coincidence, right? No FIA gates going on there.
Let's go, mate. Let's go. A bit of biasness, yes, 100%. Get them in the bin. Yeah, no, I love it. It's I'm a little bit... Okay, I'm looking ahead at this race, and I'm thinking this is either going to be overtake central, or like you said a little bit second there, are we actually going to struggle a little bit? Everyone was so close. The three at the top, they were a couple of tenths ahead, like whatever. But in that mid-ground, that was quite hard. Are we going to see drivers struggle, do you think?
I think, to be fair, we should see overtakes. The cars are quite grippy, they look very oversteery, so you can get on throttle early, and the battery doesn't last all the way down the main straight, so you've got to sort of pay attention to that. You can use it to your advantage. So we'll have to wait and see. Every driver will have their strengths and weaknesses. I'm sure that they can find some overtaking opportunities. If not, strategy always plays a big part around here.
I love it. All right, it's time for the race, guys. Career Series, Season 13, Round 7. Let's take it away, Carl.
Thank you, Scott. Welcome, everyone. Race day at the Hungaroring, Budapest. Insert some other name here. If you know, you know. But it's going to be a glorious state of affairs immediately in. 70 laps of the Hungaroring will be... lights out, and away we go. Meraki versus Tom 97 in towards turn number 1. Great start there from the Mercedes initially. Tom trying to find it at the second phase. Can't do it. Meraki's going to lead in towards turn 1. Ricky 03 going round the outside. A bit of contact between the Ferrari and the Aston Martin. Vince is already disconnected from the session. That's a bad premonition. Down towards the Hamilton corner. Ricky 03 down the inside. Favours Ferrari. And through he goes into P2 as Razin gets tagged round. And into the wall, immediate damage for Racing Chai, who had oh so much pace at Belgium, has got oh so much pace in these regulations. It's the worst possible start.
Got tagged once by Ben going through turn 2, and then must have had another Another coming together, coming out of it. Ben now to the inside. I think a Grid Jokes or Baby Lolly going into the chicane on the defensive or the offensive. Couldn't quite see. Gillen, by the way, got off the grid like an absolute rocket ship, already up to P11. Is that P10 as he throws it to the inside of Sapso as well. Uncharacteristic move in the middle sector. Doesn't quite play off for the former two-time champ. Unfortunately, didn't get to ask John this, but I'm a little bit suspicious that there may have been some sandbags on Alex Gillen's car. That doesn't usually qualify that slowly. I wonder if, because he said a number of times previously he wants to start at the back of the grid, qualifying means absolutely nothing. I wonder if that was tactical from Gillen, despite John saying that the car still looked absolutely terrible.
I can reveal, did a bit of digging. It turns out he did donuts at the exit of turn 1, hence why his rear tyres were so utterly compromised. Interesting strategy. We'll see if it pays off. He's already up 10 places to the good. Meraki leads. Ricky in second. Tom in third. Grid Jokes fourth. Ben 2 places up in fifth. Lodding over with not the greatest start as Ryan and Sapso go into combat. McLaren with the outside line. Down the hill towards the Hamel turn. And the McLaren will stay ahead for the moment. Looking behind. And that's an ever ominous image as Lolly and Tiamat Marduk go into combat. History between these two. However, fortune favours the Cadillac driver as they head into turn number 4. Actually, at this point, looking at the tyre situation as well, because that is a humongous talking point, remember. Mainly soft tyres, people thinking there's going to be an early safety car out there. So getting rid of those tyres early doors, the man that isn't in that top 10 on soft tyres is Tom 97, and he's feeling the pain at the moment as we head through Pest.
Not doing a bad job though on those hard compound tyres. Still in P3, still in touch with Jake and Ricky 03 leading the way, and that was a really nice move from Lolly around the outside of turn 2. You've got to be a brave man to go around the outside of Tiamat Marduk, especially in the early stages of a Grand Prix. Saw some polystyrene being smashed just behind, coming through a lacy corner of turn 11, so maybe somebody taking a bit of a bumpy ride off the road, but still Meraki leading the way. Really struggled on battery management a week ago in Spa, sort of tumbling through the field. Wasn't particularly pleased with the way that he was driving, with the way the game works as well. I think he'll be a lot happier with this circuit being significantly less reliant on battery usage and the pace that he seems to have found as well.
Absolutely right. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait. 21 cars, all within 1 second of one another as to the inside. Lollin overthrows all the shapes. Car as wide as possible. Grid Jokes charitably leaves the space on the inside. Lolly can't quite make the move. Has the cutback, though, as they ascend up the hill towards the Mansell corner. Surely not brave enough to go round the outside. And it's cost Grid Jokes big time. Sent into a half spin. 1, 2, 3, 4 more places. Shipped by the wayside for the RB driver, who's got to regroup very quickly indeed, as into driving centre they go. He'll think it's time for reschooling for Nolan Over, who was ever so brave to make the move around the outside for 4th.
Sapso with damage as well, clattered into the back of Grid Jokes as he was rejoining through turn 5. Would love to see that again, whether it was optimistic from Grid Jokes to keep his nose in there, or whether the space wasn't left by the reigning champion. As it is, it's Grid Jokes that's come off quite significantly second best, and Lolly up into the top 4 now with Ben easing through also. Matt 2-1-2 getting a nosebleed up in P6 at the moment. Ahead of Fabio Ryan, then you've got Grid Jokes trying to recover, and Alex Gillen ominously already up inside that top 10.
Quite an interesting dynamic that we're going to see as we head through for the 4th tour of this race. Matt 2-1-2 in the wheel tracks of Tiamat Marduk, and Fratic even closer to looking to pick the pocket from the Haas driver. No bravery being sent into turn 1 just yet. Expect it though, it will happen as Fabio is practically pushing Matt through the corner. We have 3 wide into turn number 1. Chabbers versus Vince versus Sparks, and the Alpine, the blue blur, has absolutely scythed on through as Alex Gillen, not content with the outskirts of the top 10, ascends up another place up to P9 from 21st on the grid, remember, and it's only lap 4.
Definitely confirmed he left the sandbags on in qualifying, and actually probably just didn't use any ERS at all. That's why he was so slow, plus the donuts destroying his rear tyres. And partly, that also tells me he's incredibly confident as well. The fact that he's side his way from 21st to P9, halfway around lap 4. I think Alex Gillen's definitely going to be a factor, not just for the podium, but to win this race outright, and probably win it fairly comfortably.
Finally a gap developing, 2 gears, we headed through the Danube and then through the Alacy corner. On board with Fabio's Hayden Gullis gets through in the Sister Williams car. Past Dave Gaming, Tesco's also going to try and make his way through. Late on the brakes, try not to clatter into the side pod of the Glory from Grove, and no, he does not. Through goes the Audi. P13 is there for the taking. Lolling over, honing in like a cruise missile towards Tom 97. This is where the dynamic gets interesting though. Battery management isn't such an issue. Lolly's got to be brave here to make the move stick. Little bit of a lift from Tom97, perhaps in the fuel saving department at this initial stage, but no opportunity opens up for Lolinova. And he's got to make the move stick while he can, because those hard tyres will get so much stronger. The temperatures will start skyrocketing on those softs, and then suddenly the ascendancy falls its way to the Aston Martin.
It's a double-edged sword for Tom, isn't it? Because you don't want to lose too much time fighting these soft tyre runners who at this stage will have a pace advantage. Then the other side of it, the longer you do stay in front, the worse you make it for them. You use up their tyres even more, and you just give yourself an even better offset compared to the drivers that you're racing. Ricky's made a mistake in the first sector, or the start of the middle sector. Now with Tom back up on his haunches, Lolly pushing Tom97 through Buda and through Pest to turns 8 and 9. Tim Marduk just hovering back at this stage in P5. This could be a nice little battle. Tom97 doing a really good job in these early stages. Clearly got those hard tyres firing earlier than a few drivers would have thought. Matt 2-on-2 in a great position. Just disconnected. Round the outside goes Fabio. Ryan follows in his footsteps as well. I think the two Haas cars going to be battling very shortly too. Gillen with a look to the penultimate corner. Spots the gap, spots the space. That should be fairly easy with the AI control. Matt 2-on-2 to the outside of the last corner. Absolute bedlam further back. This is Safso with damage. Getting it from absolutely all angles.
Trying to just navigate his way through. There goes Hayden Gullis into P11. Test will be next to just scythe on through as we cut to the other Ferrari of Ricky 03, ever so close to being within the overtake range. But Tom97 on the hard tyres is about to launch one. Yes, he is. Massive launch down the inside. Just about gets the car stopped. A little bit of contact. No harm, no foul. Leaves the space on the inside. But Lolinova with some outstanding opportunism. The reigning champion just scythes on through for P3 in his own right. That could well be a warning picked up by Tom97. Excellent work from both himself and this man, the reigning champion, the Cadillac Supremo.
Giving Jake a little bit of breathing room out in front, second and a half. But that was really nice, wasn't it? Punchy stuff from both of them. Tom97 and Lolinova putting one over on Ricky 03 to now even tussling with Tiamat Marduk over P4 and P5. Had a couple of run-ins in the past. Yellow flag, Tukey maybe pointing in the wrong direction. We head through turns 8 and 9. Buda and Pest chapters all over the road as well. As Matt 2-on-2 back in the session. Hasn't lost too much positionally, dropping from P6 down to P10. Still in a fairly decent place, but obviously not quite as good as it was before the disconnect.
Absolutely right. According to the telemetry we have, Ricky 03, well, these two have history at the Hungaroring. Last time out it was Ben looking to try and pick Ricky 03 to the punch. Eventually, I think he did make the move. However, it took a lot of time. He does not want to be in that position again. Shows the nose to the inside, marks his statement of intent, lays down a letter of the law, says, I'm going through, and through he goes. Freight train instincts from Tiamat Marduk, who's looking to properly stamp himself at the top of the tree in the championship once again. In terms of warnings, though, Ricky is already on 2 warnings. It doesn't dictate whether it kind of accumulates, whether it's track limits sometimes and collision warnings, just quite clear. But he is struggling out there as Alex Gillen down the inside at Mansell Corner. There are some superlative moves being made. Battery management might not be an issue, but even so, we're getting some sensational scraps out there.
Really crafty that from Gillen. Saw that Ryan, I imagine, was recharging because the speed differential between on the run into turn 4, massive, just a massive run on McLaren coming out of 3, picking his pocket nicely into the very short braking zone, has to be said, but nice clean move from Gillen once again, making light work of these drivers in the lower half of the top 10, the back end of the field, up to P7 after being 21st on the grid. Looking very nice.
Absolutely, more so than that. If you're on hard tyres, suddenly life is looking happy and healthy, and with a heck of a lot of battery, it's the Triple H, and it's about to be a goddamn smackdown for Tom97. Ricky 03's already bailing off the soft tyres, pulling the trigger, didn't look comfortable on the softs, and there's the cutthroat conclusion of it. He has to retreat to the pit lane, as showing the nose to the inside is Tom97. Not in the position to make the move, just make yourself large in the mirrors and your opportunity will arise. Maybe even by the next corner. Again showing the nose to the inside. Can't do that too often. The more you do that, the more you compromise yourself. There is a hungry Lolinova waiting in the wings to pickpocket your position. To the outside of Mansell Corner, Meraki has the measure of Tom for the time being. But look, he's switch backing him at every single corner. Surely you're not going round the outside of Mogurod. That'd be outrageous. Has the line potentially for driving centre? No, has to concede the place. A boss-like manoeuvre, and now switch backs again towards Buda. Inside for part number 1, and then into Pest. Corner, Meraki brooming a Pest to the Aston Martin, and Lolinova licking his lips for the opportunity. Towards a Lacey we go now. Every single apex, and finally he's done it. The race lead for Tom 97. That is resilience depicted in front of your very eyes, and Lolinova is going to make it a double dose of hurt in the space of a matter of corners. Tom gets the move done, Lolly follows through.
Cannot believe it took him that long. He's got so much more grip at this stage, with a second and a half quicker on the previous lap compared to Jake. These soft tyres, quite clearly, a word that none of us can say on broadcast, but we're all thinking it right now. Ricky getting shot of them after about 7 or 8 laps. Hard tyres in the ascendancy now. What is the pace of Tom 97 in clean air? Jake clearly struggling. Can Lolly, reigning champion, let's not forget, go with this Aston Martin? Was a little bit wobbly coming out of turn 1, definitely hustling that car to try and find whatever grip that he's got left. This is Gillen to the outside of Emphatic, having to go the long way round. Will turn to the inside of 3 if he's afforded the time of day. Is not for the time being. And look at that, Tim Rudd just a little bit up the road.
Yeah, good defence from Fabio there, exemplary from Meraki for the best part of 2/3 of a lap. Defence is his canvas and he paints it with ever so vibrant colours. It's only lap number 9 of this race. We've still got over 60 laps to go. Ridiculous. You'd think we've gone 70 rounds of the Hungaroring already. However, this rocky road is not yet transcended. Ryan L83 down the inside of Grid Jokes into Buda on the outside of Pest, while Tom 97 couldn't make the move. Just about keeps it within the white lines through the Danube corner. Peace flowing like a river, but only if he makes the move stick, and he just about does. Flows it round the outside, Gillen with a double dose. This time, a second shot at overtaking to the outside of the penultimate corner. This is excellent side-by-side racing. And only the first 7th of the race, and Alex Gillen moves up to P5. Another showstopper.
The car that we saw in qualifying, clearly not the car that we're seeing right now in the race. It's absolutely dialed into 100%. And after starting, 14 places behind his old sparring partner, started lap 10, fighting over the same piece of tarmac. This could get very interesting, everybody. Ben looks to be struggling a little bit with the rear tyres in particular, as Dave Gaming up into the top 10. The expense of Hayden Gullis, hold that thought, because they're clearly side by side. How does Ben play this one, though? Had a running in last week, I think it's fair to say, at Spa, going into the late comp chicane. 3-1 didn't work. It was Gillen who was spun round in the end, but Ben picking up a little bit of damage. How will they play this one?
Gotti disconnects from the session. It's not been his race at all, I assume. He either boxed really early or had some kind of skirmish earlier on. Either way, a disconnect. This just descends himself into dastardly realms. Gillen shows the nose to the inside. He's not afraid to use the battery. That is wailed over the curb by Tiamat Marduk, using every single ounce of track available to him. You have a lovely helicopter shot of Buda and Pest. Creative name. Through the Danube, a lacy corner, then awaits. Those left-hand side tyres are going to be screaming for almost everyone in the top 10. Unless your name's Tom 97, because he's on the hard tyres. He's just broken the 1 second window. Maybe trying to coach Lolinova into using some more pace as well. It's clear he's got pace as Fabio gets very close and personal to the back of Alex Gillen. But this is another opportunity. Ben, we're hearing very, very low on battery indeed. Alex with the ascendancy. It's a drag race towards turn 1.
Gillen's car looks very kind on its tyres. Hasn't got any ERS. This could be a bit defensive. Still moving around in the road, ducking and weaving. Is Ben trying to hold on to this position? Gillen looking for the cutback. Ben slightly wide, gets a decent exit out of turn 1. Still on the defensive on the run down the hill into turn 2, but Gillen not quite close enough to slide in alongside. As we've seen a couple of times from the former 2-time champ so far in this race, but Ben currently in all the wrong parts of the road. Good run through 3 from Alex Gillen, burning a bit of battery. This will be brave. Will it be brazen into turn 4? I think Gillen quite wisely there, backing out of that one.
Let's not forget, this is the championship chaser versus the championship leader, only on lap number 11. Clearly soft tyres in much more peak condition for Alex Gillen. Tiamat Marduk struggling to keep those tyres operating in an outstanding window as they go through turn 8 and 9 for the 11th time. Tom 97 leads by 1.5 seconds. Lolinova gives chase, but his soft tyres have fought the farm already. He's dropping back in the Cadillac. Meraki in P3. Then there is a gargantuan battle. A clash of the titans for P4 on the road. And having started from P21, having made all the moves he's made so far, confidence at an all-time high for the Haas driver, who again sets himself up. Car looks so supremely stable through the penultimate corner. Look at the cut he gets. He has a bit of a snap at the exit of the corner, but he's just so much more polite. And the car complies so much better, weaving to try and break the slipstream as the dark arts of defence from Tiamat Marduk. Alex tries to break as late as he can, almost his nose sawn clean off by the McLaren. It's millimetric margins they're playing with.
So tight, got to be really careful. Fabio with the best seat in the house right now as Gillen tries to set himself up for this move. Seen him beating off the final corner to try and give himself the best run he possibly can. Car off in turn 2. Is that Max 0-2? No, Dave Gaming. Madoff as well. Feeling a bit of a tete-a-tete between the pair of them, tumbling back a couple of places. Not good news for Matt, who was at one stage in P6 before disconnecting, getting back in P10. Now some contact with the Alpine, throwing him out of contention. Little look to the inside again from Gillen, who's trying to spook Ben into the braking zone.
I think he's just trying to coax Ben into using some more battery. Ben losing about half a second a lap to Meraki at the moment, based on my estimations on the left-hand side of your picture. He's just trying to coax him into deploying more of his electrical tokens. It's a give and take kind of game, but if he can manage to drain his battery as much as possible, that's an easy avenue up into 4th place, and that's another chomp taken out of the championship lead. Makes me quite peckish, but Alex Gillen's got to hope he's strong enough to make the move stick. Lap number 12 awaits crossover onto lap number 13 for that matter. 3 seconds now the gap between Tom 97 and Lolin Ober. And we saw this at the Belgian Grand Prix at that initial stage. The hard tyres take a while to fire up, but once they do, boy, are they a good tyre. Alex going for it again. Shows the nose. Inside, outside, left, right. No good night because Tiamat Marduk still remains very much alive in 4th.
Can't wait too long because the pace of Ben isn't great, especially compared to Lolanob. We know he's losing time to Jake in front as well. Alex doesn't want to be too patient here. Yes, there's still a long way to go, just under 60 laps left of the Grand Prix. We expect to see a safety car despite not having one called out as yet. But yeah, you don't want to lose too much time. And also, you don't want to get into a position where you are just a little bit frustrated, which can happen when you spend ages behind the driver on a circuit where overtaking is difficult. And this is usually where Alex Gillen's very headstrong, he's very smart, he's very resilient as well in these places. And he is usually, I say usually because there's a couple of bowling situations that we've seen in the past, usually very calm in this kind of scenario.
Highlighting race leader Tom 97 for the moment. Another cool, calm, composed, collected individual. Currently running in the lead, no real surprise on the hard compound tyres. Is 1.2 seconds a lap faster than Lolin Ober at the moment. And if there isn't an early safety car, it's to the inside of the penultimate corner. This is the moment Alex Gillen's been waiting for. He is afforded the space on the inside. Ben will have the inside line for the final corner. He's going to send it as much as possible. Try and dictate the racing line. Alex will have the momentum on the outside. A side-by-side drag race as they cross over the line for the 14th lap of this race in their account. Alex on the outside. Ben will brake as late as he dares, but actually is quite sensible about it. Doesn't go all guns blazing. He needs the points as much as Alex Gillen does in the context of this race. It was not a good outing at the Belgian Grand Prix, and he sinks down, but no, switchback. Daniel Ricciardo-esque from 2022. Can he still hold it side by side for the best part of half a lap? Between the Aussie and the Brit, round the outside of Mansell, still they just about leave enough space. Fabio's caught in the crossfire, into the wall, goes the Williams driver. A brilliant, brilliant battle, but it's put the sword to Fabio's straight line hopes.
Is that the best scrap we've seen between Ben and Alex in the Creator Series? I think it's definitely up there. Fabio looked like he just dropped it in the background. Maybe if he tapped the back of one of them on the entry into turn 4, that might have given him a helping hand off the road and into the tyre barrier on the left-hand side. What a scrap that was. Looked from our perspective to be pretty much all fair. There was a little bit of banging tyres on the straight, in particular the run down into turn number 2. Ben pushing Gillen to the extremities of the circuit, but no further. And that could be a nice little marker, both of them laying that down. That was really good fun to watch.
I will say this as well, Tiamat Marduk, because he bails into the pit lane, so that is he won the psychological battle. However, he hasn't won the battle of longevity into the pit lane for his first stop of this race. And I will say this, as the championship leader boxes onto what looks like the medium compound tyres. Yes, it is. Medium tyres for Tiamat Marduk. He's going to save the hard compound tyres, which are the most powerful tyre for the end of this race. Top 97 race leader putting them to good use. Ben's battling. There has been a few moments where we've seen the old Ben rise from the ashes. But otherwise, there's been some incredible battles that Ben's displayed this season. I think to Austria, some absolutely glorious battling, same as what we're seeing today.
Yeah, and you would think prime example of it would have been into turn 1 where they were side by side. Ben would have braked really late. We saw it last season where he was battling, trying to force his way through. Brake really late, force the other driver to either back out and go for the cutback or fall off the circuit. But he even braked a little bit earlier than Gillen on the outside, left him a decent amount of space. Again, space was left through turn 2 and into turn 3 from everything that we could see at least. Very, very nice scrap. Tom still leading the way out in front though as we return to a bit of calm and peace and serenity. Did lose Gillen a couple of seconds compared to Jake, but he's straight back on the button. Straight back, taking chunks of time out of Meraki. As there is your reigning champion jumping into the pit lane to get some of those tyres.
Yeah, gap was 6 seconds between Tom 97 and Lolin Ober. Children behave. As into the pit lane also comes Alex Gillen, so was reeling in Meraki, the big fish, coming his way. However, he's hooked the right into pit row, and what will the tyre situation be? Lolin Ober is going to exit the box in a matter of moments' time. Alex Gillen will very much do the same. Let's see what tyres are going to be on the hash car. The answer is medium compound tyres, middle of the road. If in doubt, middle it out, save the best for last, and onto the track he goes. Tiamat Marduk will inherit the place as a result, as will Ryan L83, who pit a lap earlier than Tiamat Marduk, therefore 2 laps undercut on Alex Gillen, who does not want to be caught up in the battling between that guy Vince and Grid Jokes, and luckily for him, he is not. Some clean air to get the tyres into the window with no disruption, and job is a good one.
Judged to absolute perfection there, keeps himself ahead of the battling going on behind. He can set his sights on those 2 McLarens that are just up the road, on and over pitting as well. Getting ahead of Chappers on the road, still with to deal with his team at King Cryptics in P6 and 7. Sparks up the road as well, still yet to stop. Ricky, technically your net race leader as things stand, but pitted very early. Been on those tyres for I think 10 laps so far. Yes, 9 laps on his medium compound tyres, which is 7 on his original set of soft tyres. Very much out of sync with everybody else, as long as he is through on his teammate, and absolutely checking out.
Yeah, parallel of what Ricky 03 did last week at the Belgian Grand Prix. Boxed it early, Meraki's boxing off his soft tyres for that matter. So the leaders, practically all of them, have pulled the pit lane trigger. We'll quickly see what tyres Meraki puts on, and then we have some analysis to do. But first of all, medium compound tyres, that seems to be the general consensus. A few drivers going on to the hard compound tyres, but mostly it is that yellow walled tyre. Ricky 03 not that much faster than Tom 97. He did this last week. Pit early onto his next set of tyres. It cost him in terms of overall race pace. However, this race has felt like it's gone 12 rounds. However, no one has been slumped to the deck just yet. Well, certainly not our clipbook man, Mr. John Harris. John, what have you got for us?
Well, hello. First of all, starting with lap 1, we have Razin, who's going to have a little bit of an incident in here. Just trying to get Ricky and Chihuahua, and it's just to the inside, gets tagged. I think that was from Grid Jokes, and then on the exit, looking behind, just completely miscalculates the grip and all the way down the order. Big wing damage. You definitely don't want that at the start of the race, so he's been recovering from that. Grid Jokes battling with Tiamat Marduk, lap 3. To the inside, Tiamat Marduk using the boost and just gets tapped around. Sorry, that was Lolin Ober, not Tiamat Marduk. But thankfully, Grid Jokes can recover, although he lost a load of places, didn't he? So Lolin Ober just being a little bit aggressive in that one. If we switch now to Tukey, this is lap 6, and he just gets barged by that guy Vince, and that guy Vince over the curb, not really anywhere he could go, and there's not really any grip you can find over the curb, so he gets barged out of position once again. So a lot of drivers just coming into contact, but only Razin really got wing damage in the opening couple of laps. However, if I switch to Dave Gaming now, this was what was mentioned in the commentary box with Matt212. This is what happened on lap 12. Just braking way too late into the back of Matt212, and Dave Gaming with damage and also losing a few positions as well. Lucky to not have a safety car on that one, because it was on track and there was a car stopped on track briefly, so marginal with that one. Then on to Infratic. This one, sadly for Infratic, is a little bit of a clumsy one. Ben and Alex battling. He just tries to do the undercut, the switchback, and he just gets collected completely trying to carry the overspeed. And he's very frustrated, as you can see. I can imagine he just wanted to get involved on the action, and now he's in recovery mode. That's a lot of action, but there's going to be more to come. So back to you guys in the commentary box.
Yeah, there will be. Astonishing analysis, as always, from Mr. John Harris in Clipbook Corner, lap 19. And the big news is, you probably saw it on the bottom left of your picture, Meraki and Alex Gillen had a great little battle, but some expert teamwork from Ryan L83.
Getting himself, or getting both of them, now ahead of Chappers as well. Ryan was fighting that really hard, saw him run off the road through the chicane. I think it was Jake trying to go up the inside, Gillen, or Ryan I should say, taking or exiting stage left, jumping off the road, and now finds the shoe on the other foot. Caught behind Chappers through the final corner. Jake and Gillen going to deal with the second Cadillac as well. Right, you see, not with the straightaway. Got to be careful of Grid Jokes right in the thick of the scrap as well. To the inside goes Meraki, gets ahead of King Cryptics. Gillen unable to do so and falling through in the braking zone. Ryan through just in the background as well. Ben a further second and a half up the road, and this should be fairly straightforward on the new tyres for Alex Gillen. And yes, easy as you like.
Gobbled. Absolutely gobbled. from Alex Gillen. Takes P8 on the roads, going for Meraki's position as well. He's got 1 lap older tyres. Does not want to be stuck behind a man he knew he could reel in on the same tyres. Goodness gracious me. Weave one way and then the other way. The straight is ever so short, but boy, if you're going to try and squander anyone's race, you might as well give it a go. Alex Gillen, not short of confidence or bravery whatsoever. Let's not forget, started P21, did donuts to burn up his rear tyres. And would you believe it? Not doing donuts and burning your rear tyres gives you a lot of pace. It's a weird strategy, but it seemingly worked. Mr. Alex Gillen, because he's on P8, hunting down the Mercedes. He can't afford to do is be in the same situation as last time. First of all, he's got to hope Meraki's got the pace. His grid jokes also gets through on King Cryptix. Very much a cork in the bottle for a lot of these front runners just getting on through the field. Lolinoba has reeled in Ricky 03 at a rapid rate of knots. No real surprise. 8 laps delta on their tyres, and look how much confidence and surplus of speed they have. Can hold the inside line. It's going to be a clean pass round the outside. Ricky 03 doesn't let it through. Academic move from Lolinova.
Very straightforward, very important as well. Ricky lapping about 1.3 seconds a lap slower than Lolly at this stage. Ricky only a couple of tenths quicker than Tom 97. He's still out there on his starting hard compound tyres. We have to praise Tom 97 again. Really good job in those opening couple of laps. Didn't fall through the field like we see so often for the drivers that start towards the front on the hard compound tyres. Excellent stuff to get some energy and get some temperature into them. Held his position in P3, then got his way up into the lead and hasn't looked back so far. Massively offset, massively out of sync compared to everybody else. Be fascinated to see what Tom pulls off on the next 15 or 20 laps of this race.
A shoe-in for the race win as well. It was my second shoe-in. It was between someone who hadn't won this season. It was between Lolinova and Tom 97. Tim McMahon takes Sparks for P4, puts another car between himself and Meraki. Critical for the context of his race. However, Jake's not content waiting behind. He's going to absolutely scythe his way down the inside. Recoiled, ready to strike. Python-like instinct. Meraki through into P5. Alex Gillen follows him through. A customary opportunism move from the Haas driver. Onto lap number 21 in their camp. Gap at the front is diminishing all the while. Tom 97 with a nice buffer as we ride on board with Alex Gillen. Just hauling him in, using as much boost as he can. You can see the light blinking on the Mercedes out in front. Alex, though, has to lift and coast. Doesn't have enough electrical energy. Unbelievably, even though it's Hungary, still has to consider a tiny bit of battery saving out there.
A little bit of fuel saving will be involved as well. Gillen down on fuel, not quite as significantly down as he is compared to Ben or Tom 97. Had a little look to the outside, didn't he there? All over the back of Jake. Looking really racy here is Gillen. Really punchy again. We've seen this move into turn 4 once. Doesn't pull it off on this occasion. Wasn't quite far enough alongside. Didn't have the overspeed to challenge Meraki into the small and short braking zone. Tim McMurdoch, bit of a moving roadblock in front of them as they crew back up to the back of the championship leader. And then what? 11 seconds, 12 seconds now off the back of Lolinoba? That could be criminal for what's gone on so far. They've been battling through the traffic very, very hard. Battling with Ryan 83 as well. Very hard. Jake recharging, getting a lot of overspeed there on the run into a Lacey corner of turn 11. Desperate to try and get past the Mercedes. Unable to do so yet.
Big moves going on for 10th place on the road. Matt 212 going past Hayden Garlis, that guy Vince, and King Cryptix losing the places, and that's because Vince thought he made the move stick, but Cryptix has just been allowed on through. The Williams driver reserving in for Monsieur G. Watts is going through the penultimate corner. Through he goes, hunkering down behind the Haas. One Haas on the attack, the other one very much looking in the mirrors. Speaking of that attacking Haas, it's assassination through the first corner from Alex Gillen. Recoiled, sniped, up to P5 for a moment, but Meraki will fight this one. He's got the newer tyres. He might have some battery and some confidence in him yet. Holding it round the outside. Some excellent, supreme side-by-side action. And Alex Gillen takes the place. 5th place, and now his old sparring partner is next up the road.
Jake had to catch a big old slide there midway through turn number 2. Back of the car stepping out, bit of a drift as he almost slid into the side of Gillen. Well judged by both of them once again. An important move as well for Alex Gillen if he is to challenge for the race win here. 12 seconds the difference, 11 seconds, 11 and a half. Just altering all the way around is the difference between himself and Lolinoba. And he's not got a tyre offset, exactly the same age tyre. So he needs to try and catch that up. Unless, of course, we see a safety car, which is no longer guaranteed. Didn't see a safety car last week, didn't even have any retirees. First time in the Creator Series, 22 drivers have finished.
No, absolutely. And Austria as well, I can only think, had one safety car in it. Of course, we've had the sprinklings of seasonal chaos in Creator Series. Think back to the British Grand Prix where we had pretty much a load of safety cars under the sun. Made this man we highlight very unhappy indeed, as he was caught up in every single kind of crossfire imaginable. However, this time, much more direct, much more ready for the war. Jink to the inside from Tiamat Marduk, just a statement to say, don't you dare think about a dive down the inside. You know how I'll tolerate that. The answer, not very well. Alex shows the nose to the inside of the Hamilton corner, another Jink to the inside. Ben can't afford to do that when Alex is too close. That will result in complete chaos and contact. You know the rest. Sadness, emotions, lawsuit, I don't know what adds on top of that. Through Mansell corner they go as Matt 2-on-2 and Hayden Gull is still not done with their squabbles. Haas driver holds the place, the other one here, ready to attack.
I don't think Gyllenhaal at this stage now will be particularly enamoured. Moved a couple of times in the braking zone as Ben. They're just wobbling about, just trying to put Gyllenhaal off ever so slightly, leave him a little bit indecisive as they head down. Eventually Gyllenhaal's going to get bored of that. You think he's just going to throw it to the inside and see what happens. When he does roll the dice, still all over the back of Ben. Looks really confident in this middle sector in particular, does Alex Gyllenhaal. Looks on rails at certain points as he has a little look over to the inside, but again, happy to sit back into turn 12. It's the run into turn 1 and then the follow-up into turn 2. He doesn't even need that because he's charging around the outside into the penultimate corner. Little bit of tyre-to-tyre contact between the two box office sparring rivals. To the inside of the final corner, more contact on the exit of 13. Now Gillen trying to give Ben the cold shoulder, gives him a lot of free rear estate on the outside, and enter Jake into this fight as well.
Ben's going to lose 2 for the price of 1, potentially. Alex trying to cover Meraki. Meraki tries to go to the outside. No racing line for you, Sunshine. Ben sweeps round the outside. Will he be afforded space? Yes, just about. Meraki has the inside. Line of least distance is going to propel him ahead. Only briefly, though. Ben will be late on the brace. He'll try and get the car fully alongside and ahead. Uses the inside line. Alex leaves it open just to avoid the contact. Again, racing room and respect left. Is Ben going to go for it into Mansell? No, he's not. And he can't really either. He hasn't looked to be on the pace or on form. Alex Gillen takes P4 and will try and get up the road as quickly as possible. Ben can use this as an opportunity though. We're hearing from our man in Clipfoot corner. Ben is about -4 laps on fuel at the moment. Same for the race leader, Tom 97. Now he's got a car ahead of him. He'll get that overtake mode at the end of the lap. This is a good opportunity just to have a bit of relaxation maybe and recharge that battery, but only if Meraki doesn't absolutely send it.
Yeah, because I think Gillen's got the pace here on Ben. We'll have to wait and see in about 30 seconds' time. As the first penalty of the race goes the way of Blue Fox with a 3-second for corner cutting, currently down in P20. Raz and watch after that blunder on the opening lap, back up into P16. Still not out of this to potentially get himself inside the top 10. But still, 45 laps for the Hungarian Grand Prix to go. 0.6 of a second the margin between Gillen and Ben. I don't think Ben will be absolving that on the run into turn 1. Going to be looking behind him a little bit more concerned as Jake just stays there. I don't think he gained any time. I think they were equidistant from when they started the main straight to the point they hit the brakes.
2-time champion versus 2-time champion versus 2-time champion. It's the holy trinity of Creator Series. Ever so successful as you look down from P4 down to P6, the most recent of which was Meraki. Season 11 champion, the realistic cars, and he finally has the nose down the inside, space left, little bit of contact on the exit, no moving on the braking, Ben being very sensible about it as they still run side by side. I remember this one, it's a classic, we love it, but the battle is, well, it's a story already foretold. You knew what the conclusion was going to be. Meraki goes through. A second drop to Alex Gillen, though, who is charging up to Ricky 03 in third.
Had to give that one up. I think it was sensible as well from Ben into the chicane. We're going to see another move this time. It's Test Will barging his way past Tukey. Jumps over the sausage curb on the inside. Dave came behind with a bit of a nose job going on. Ryan with a 3-second penalty once again. We start the race. Ryan picks up a 3-second corner cutting penalty. Still the Alpine of the Red Bull having this one out. Tukey, I don't think we're particularly enamoured by the move by Test Will into the chicane. But it's Audi, Alpine, Red Bull. And just to rub salt into the wounds, Tukey just using a little bit too much of the road through turn 11 and himself picking up a 3-second penalty. Drifting off the road through the marbles goes Dave Gaming. Clearly that weight reduction upgrade at the front not serving him particularly well.
Engineers hate this one simple trick to make you faster, as Infratic also proves down in P17. Here he is, in the Williams car. They're going to need it, unfortunately. If you know, you know. They're being packed in by an Aston Martin. Through the final corner goes Infratic as he's chasing down Rasen Chai. That guy Vince, in the other Alpine, which does have a full complement of front wing, is in P10, fighting it hard out with Matt 2-1-2. Infratic goes through on Rasen Chai for P16. on the road. Next target is Safso, currently residing in that P15. Critical place, of course. Last point Spain position, and we love to see it. Tom leads by 10.2 seconds over Lolinoba, who has 10.2 seconds between himself and Ricky 03. Pitting early was not the gamble. He's 2/10 slower than Tom 97, who started on the hard compound tyres as a switchback potentially through Mansell Corner. Has the outside for the Mogurod bend and will go into driving centre. Hopefully with 100% pass rate, we'll find out. Infratic late on the brakes. Safso, I think, let that one sensibly go, and the Williams driver is up into P15, albeit with a dubious aerodynamic package.
He's had some decent pace, qualified well, best qualifying of the season, was at one stage running inside the top 6 before running into the back of Gillen's car. He was having it out to some tune with Tiamat Marlett before the first round of stops. Now putting some distance between himself and that group behind. Sparks ducking over to the inside, maybe trying to see what he could make work into the braking zone of turn number 12. Razin, I think, is on old tyres still after pitting on the opening lap. Massively under pressure from the Mercedes. Safso too, getting it from all angles as he has been a couple of times, picked up damage early on and has paid the price ever since.
Yeah, Rasinchai 25 laps on his medium compound tyres. Safso not far away, 19 laps he's completed on his yellow-walled Pirellis. Lolinoba only 12 in P2 as diving it to the inside goes Sparks. Ignition deployed for the Mercedes driver. Drag race towards turn number 2, but Rasin, his tyres have well and truly given up the ghost. Through the Mercedes goes P17 and will pick the pocket of Safso, no doubt, in the nick of time. They will send up the hill towards Mansell Corner. I will also say at this point it's expert management from the race leader. Sparks goes through for P16, but Tom 97 still in the 1:20s. Lolinoba will cross the line in a few seconds' time. Still on those medium tyres. We have a yellow flag into turn 1. It's only an Audi getting out of the way. Lolinoba at 20.1. He's only gaining half a second on tyres that are a compound softer, but also 15 laps younger.
Doing a very, very good job. He's actually quicker than Tim and Mark at this stage. He's really struggling for a bit of pace. Now 3 seconds off the back of Gillen and Jake. And Jake's managed to go with Alex Gillen, and they're taking chunks of time out of Ricky 03's 21 laps on his set of medium compound tyres. Ben, 0.3 of a second slower than Tom 97, a second slower than Jake in front of him. Problems for the championship leader at the moment.
I don't want to tempt fate here because so it's lap 28. We are 4/10 of the way through the race if my maths is correct. But Tom 97 and Lolinoba, pending there isn't a safety car, because it's not an absolute certainty this season. You can cause safety cars, just to be quite clear, in the Creator Series. But there's never been a willingness to do it. There's been more of a willingness to learn about the cars, to find out how to extract the pace, to just go for some damn good back and forth battles. So if the safety cars don't emerge, really at the moment, you're looking at what could well be a 2-horse race. Tom 97 and Lolinoba, who have stayed out of all the carnage, done something a little bit different, and have paid the price back so handsomely.
Yeah, Lolly's in a great spot as well. 13 seconds clear of his nearest rival, that being technically Ricky 03, but realistically Gillen and Jake in this position. And if we're not going to see a safety car, Gillen's going to have to do something very creative to try and get that time back on the reigning champion, as Ricky's going to put those tyres to rest. Can he take hard tyres to the end of the race? 40 laps still to go. Should be able to manage it, but I don't think he's on the optimal strategy, I think it's fair to say, after that early stop to get rid of his softs.
I would agree. It is the ultimate Ferrari strategy play from Ricky 03. Ryan 83 also pits. The McLaren and Ferrari following each other in synchronicity. I will wager it's a bad idea. Onto the hard compound tyres goes Ryan L83, blitzes out of his box to try and beat Ricky 03. Unfortunately, spoiler, not going to happen. Ricky's already out of the pit. Sorry about that. Miraki chasing down Alex Gillen. Then these two will continue to hoist each other towards the top of the tree. In theory, but their tyres are the same age as Lolinoba, setting about the same lap times as well. So there is a lot of time and a lot of hope they've got to dish out, and a lot of lady luck they need, because at the moment, she ain't playing nice in their favour.
If we look at Tom 97, Carl, from a driver's perspective, 30 laps in, 30 laps on his hard compound tyres, what would you be looking at from a strategy point of view? When are you getting onto the softs and or the mediums? What way round are you choosing as well? How would you be playing this in the second half?
It's interesting. I think actually the Alex Gillen strat might not be a bad idea from last week at the Belgian Grand Prix, where he started on the hard compound tyres, took them over half the race distance, got on the softs on the mid-phase, blitzed his way through the field as quickly as possible, and then had the mediums at the end for when the car was at its lightest. A tyre he knew he'd have the longevity of and could run it to the end of the race. I feel like Tom could do a similar thing to that, but we will soon find out. Still so many tales to unravel, and Meraki for at the moment sniffed a half chance of diving down the inside and doing egregious things to the sideboard of Alex Gillen. It's imagery I don't want to depict. As through the Hamel turn they go for the 30th time. 3/7 of the way. We're nearly halfway through this race, which, depending on your perspective, I think in commentary corner, we're wondering how it's gone so slowly, because there's so many battles that have gone, and it feels like we've done 2 races already. It's crazy.
We've seen a lot of jostling, seen a lot of strategical games being played as well, just starting to settle into that kind of mid-race rhythm, aren't we, where the strategy cards being played, everybody's just fanning out a little bit, management going on. We're seeing what the outright pace of these guys in clear air is. Gillen now lapping around about the same, almost to the 1,000 to Meraki, and of course to Lorenober in front, all of them in the 20.1s, about 8/10 quicker than Tom 97 at this stage, and Ben about 9/10 of a second slower than all of them as well, still slower than Tom 97 out in front, and being caught by grid jokes as well. I think your point about the strategy game as well is an interesting one, because we saw how terrible the soft tyres were, overheating, degrading really quickly as well. Only really Alex Gillen made them work, and he still looked pretty comfortable by the time he got to the end of that opening simp. So I think if you are leaving yourself with a set of soft tyres to take 10, 15 laps in the final stint, that's going to be a tall order when you're battling against drivers that are either on mediums or on hards.
I've made a note of Tom 97's last 5 laps as well, just to give you an idea of how consistent he's been. And let me put it this way, he's either been on a 20.6, a 20.7, or a 20.8. He has not wavered within 2/10 of a second of his consistency. Just absolutely ridiculous. And those behind and similar age players are not even going that much faster. 6/10 of a second to Lorenober, only half a second really for Alex Gillen and Meraki. Gap between Alex and Tom, 20.5 seconds. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tom feels like he can continue the pace he's going on. Only 2/10 slower than Lolly through the middle sector now. He might as well just carry on, ride out the crest of the wave as much as he can, and when he knows those temperatures are going to go over the boil well and truly on the softs, then he pulls the trigger, then he can banzai it, and then we can really see his attacking form.
Seriously looking like a 2-horse race, like you said. Tom 97 versus Lorenober. Lolly with a big advantage over the guys that are on the same strategy compared to him. Tom offset, still yet to make a stop in this race, still lapping really, really nicely. Has just for the first time dipped into the 121, so just as you praise his consistency, he just starts to lose a little bit more. And I think this is the real Tom 97. We know that he's been struggling with the battery management and the best way to try and get the most and extract the most performance out of it. Now that we've gone back to a more traditional style of racing, I don't think it's that surprising that we see Tom 97 right back at the sharp end again and looking really comfortable.
Here we go, Ricky 03 going through on test wheel because the Italian stallion says, I'm not being stuck behind an imposter. Through he goes towards turn number 1, the PK corner. No sideways action. It's clean. It's composed. It's the top 10 on those hard tyres, and seeing the consistency that Tom 97 had, it's not made necessarily a bad thing. He's gone onto the hard tyres when he has. I'll keep an eye on the lap times at 19.5 on the last lap, and we'll see what progress the Ferrari can make from there. Ben's pace, however, I assume because of the fuel saving he might be having to do, he's lost 7 seconds to Alex and Meraki. Grid Jokes is right on his case through Buda and Pest.
If you remember back, I think it was season 3 back on F1 23, this race was a massive fuel drink, and I think for probably 50 laps, about 50% of the drivers at the sharp end were really having to lift and coast massively to save that fuel. Ben was one of them. I think he was working with GB at the time, who obviously isn't here. So that's definitely going to be a factor to why Ben's pace is so poor at the moment. He's getting caught very quickly by Gridjo. It's getting dropped very quickly as well by Gillen and Jake in front. There is a safety car though. We'll bring him straight back into the game. So still potential variables that can happen that will bring Ben back onto a level playing field with the guys that he's racing. But he's obviously realised just driving normally and fighting very hard with Gillen, not going to save me the fuel. I need to get to the end of this race.
Worst news, apparently, according to Clipbook Corner, Ben is not saving fuel. This is his true pace. This is everything, all the cards laid on the table, and he's apparently still worse off on fuel as well, at minus 3.9, worse off than Tom 97 as Ricky 03 picks another place up in the Ferrari to P9. But Tim at Marduk struggling out there at the moment, and a luck of the gods, just a sprinkling of fortune from the heavens above is required to really resuscitate his race.
Yeah, he's minus 3 at the moment on fuel, so he has taken a lap back compared to when we spoke about it a little while ago. Tom 97 still down on fuel as well, but I think it'd be harsh to say this is his actual pace. Yellow flag out for a Red Bull. Is that Tukey that's gone off through turn 2? Ryan maybe with a bit of an excursion as well. Ben also struggled with battery as well, which is probably a concept of he's saving so much fuel. He's trying to burn as much battery as he possibly can because he's hitting the recharge limit much earlier than he probably should be and would be doing so in a regulation race.
Many discussion points to go. I will iterate as well, it's just Ben's pace at the moment. You never know. There could well be some revitalisation heading his way as we are very close to hitting the fulcrum point of this race. Meraki goes through on Alex Gillen, and that was an easy move. Alex waves him on by. Meraki clearly with some decent pace. Tyre's only a lap younger, so not much to separate them in terms of tyre life. But Meraki just finding his feet on the mediums. Grid Jokes also goes through into P5. A man who, well, cast your minds back to the Madrid Grand Prix we had not so long ago, only a few weeks back. He had a decent run of it as well in qualifying. We have other moves being made. Ricky 03 on his new hard compound tyres takes that guy Vince. Scarlet Red versus the Blue Blur, and the Blue Blur has a strong arm defence at his disposal as they ascend up towards Mansell, Ferrari's happy hunting ground in 1990. However, 35 years have moved on since then. You need to find some extra creativity as we head towards driving centre. Gap now at the front is less than 5 seconds. Lolling over, just stretching the margin, only 0.3 of a second faster on the previous lap. We'll see what he can find on this one.
Yeah, and I've been doing some digging into Team Marduk's pace at the minute. He's using none a lot of the time. And if I'm comparing it to Alex Gillen, not really saving that much more battery, and he's going that much slower because Gillen is hardly using none at all. A lot of the time spent in medium, and he's got a lot of DRS as well. So maybe that needs to be fed back to Ben because that could be another contributing factor as to why his pace has just disappeared.
Also, can I just say, subtly under the radar, he's listed as Hunter on our telemetry screen. Hayden Gullis in the Williams is P7, and he's catching up to both Grid Jokes and Tiamat Marduk. Extremely under the radar stuff. But now he's just appeared on the oscilloscope, and Tiamat Marduk and Grid Jokes going, how the hell has that happened? Ricky 03 is going to appear on the radar before too long as Razin's race just goes from bad to worse as he disconnects from the session. So not only did he have the first lap of conundrums to deal with, now his Wi-Fi has been thrown into the Danube.
Not good news. Not been the race that Razin would have been looking for, and might be my fault. If you remember back to Silverstone, I predicted Kareem would win that race. He had an absolute stinker. I then, after you said Lolly, I said Razin could be a shout for the win as well, and he's had an absolute stinker almost. So I probably should just not do predictions. If anyone wants to pay me to predict your least favourite driver, then we can maybe have a discussion about that, because clearly not going well for me.
So, situation, reaching the halfway mark. Tom 97 is your leader. Critically, has not stopped yet. At all. He's still on those same hard compound tyres he started the race on. The drivers behind him have all stopped though. Everybody else has made at least one pit stop. Lolling over in P2 on the mediums, going about 0.4 of a second a lap faster. Meraki also going 0.4 of a lap faster. Alex Gillen, not with the greatest lap on the last lap, but they're going to cross the line soon. And back to form, 20.5. They are 0.4 faster than Tom at the front. But there is a chasm, a big chasm between themselves and this man, who we are highlighting, whose consistency, he's 6 milliseconds inside the window, but he's still lapping in the 1 minute 20s after 36 laps. As Ryan 83 is just going to try and slalom round the outside. Might have a penalty, does not dent his spirits for one moment. It's going to be a drag race to turn number 1, and a Schumacher almost pushed to the pit wall from Fabio.
Barrichello treatment going on there to the inside. McLaren versus Williams. The nose job for Fabio. Does it give him the advantage to the outside of turn 1? Ryan with a penalty, as per usual. He does have the overspeed through turn 1, and that is P13 for Ryan compared to Fabio. And as one McLaren gets past the Williams, we could be seeing a Williams getting past the other McLaren. Hayden Gullis, really strong pace at the moment. Tiamat Marduk still clinging onto the back of Grid Jokes, hoping to try and help him with some fuel savings. Like a 10 seconds almost off the back of Yates and Gillen in front, and then 30 plus seconds off the race lead. So unravel fairly quickly, nearly 30 seconds off the lead, I should say. It's unravel really for Tiamat Marduk with this fuel saving. Tom 97 in a similar boat with his fuel situation. He's minus 2.7 at the moment, but still rock solid with his consistency out in front. Incredible stuff at the moment. Those hard tyres, clearly absolute bricks.
A king of his craft, Tom 97, Mr. Consistent in the lean green machine, deputising for GB in that particular car. Race winner at the Belgian Grand Prix. It could be 2 for 2 at the Hungaroring. Hayden Gullis closing in on Tiamat Marduk, who has a big slide. Takes the car too late into the corner. Hayden's got a great chance here. Side by side ahead as he heads into the Hamel turn. Ben late on the brakes to try and squander the opportunity. But Hayden could have him. Hook line, and sinker. He's reached the anchor point as he just takes P6. Ben slots in behind, and the Williams driver blazes on through.
Are we sure this is Hayden? Are we sure? We've seen him pull tricks before, getting esports drivers
Sure
in.
it's not Brendan.
Oh, we're seeing a bit of a repeat as Brendan Lee jumped into the cockpit as he's been tucking in to his dinner still. Looking really strong out there at the moment. Didn't qualify particularly well, but race pace, those hard tyres again, we say it once more, looking like the ideal tyre for the drivers at this stage. People going for the mediums in this middle stint may be regretting that because the hards, A, are really durable, and the pace difference doesn't seem particularly big either between themselves and the mediums. The mediums drop off very quickly compared to the hards.
Doesn't seem like it, indeed. And to be honest, with Tom 97 showing after 38 laps, he's still lapping in the 1 minute 20s. I'm surprised others haven't pit earlier onto hards as well. Ricky's completed all of his pit stops. He's done. Soft, medium and hard, shake my head, as has Ryan, who's in P12. Those hards clearly have a lot of consistency. Drivers eking out as late as possible. I am surprised because they clearly have the longevity as Alex goes through at the Hamilton. Haas Meraki for P3. A little bit of swapsies between the two of them, but they're just going to lose a tiny bit of time to Lolinoba and Tom 97 up ahead. So if you're Tim at Marduk, here's my thinking. Do you just box onto hards? Because Ricky 03's just got past him for P7. So surely now you put on the hards, try something a bit different. Yes, you might be caught out by a safety car, but there's got to be something. He's got to try to transform his race from here.
Yeah, and John said it in our little chat, and I've just seen it as well. His tyres are absolutely melting. Tyre temps, all of them are in the mid 100s, up to 110, maybe even the low 110s for some of them as well. So tyre temperatures are a problem, fuel's a problem, ERS has been a problem. This is where you just got to try and stay resilient. Remember that you've still got over 30 laps of this race to go. So pressure very much on at the moment for Ben, but we know if there's one driver that can pull himself out of a situation like this, it is probably Tim at Marduk. Needs to try and do something quickly though. Can't be too passive. Needs to be aggressive. Needs to be punching. Needs to be proactive with the way that it's going.
Let us all say, he always finds a way, the championship leader. One way or another, he makes the difference. And speaking of which, right on cue. The script's right itself, but here goes Tim at Marduk into the pit lane, lap number 39, and finally, he bails off his tyres that are pyroclastic flows of Pirellis and onto the hard tyres, which will mercifully be much more marvellous for the rest of the race. McLaren driver currently in P10. We'll see where he drops in the pecking order. Ryan 83 had a few laps worth of undercut. Ideally, he wants to be ahead of Fabio, but he's been on for 24 laps, so we won't have to worry too much. Where's he going to be compared to that guy, Vince? Vince is ahead. But now, Ben has a little bit of time to get himself back in the rhythm, get his head down, focus in, target up ahead, that guy Vince, and he's got a bit of a tyre delta on him.
And this is where he needs to just try and make a difference. Get yourself back into the race with a really strong final stint. There's still an opportunity to finish in the top 5 with all of the struggles that Ben's been having so far. You're the championship leader. On your bad days, if you can still get a top 5, that is how you string together a potential 3rd Creator Series championship for Tim Marduk. Put yourself back at the top of the list outright for most Creator Series championships.
Infratic again with the illegal aerodynamic package in P11, and also got very, very second-hand tyres. That will play into the hands of Vince, but also Ben, as Vince will be stuck behind him most definitely towards the last sector. Tuki's out, crash into the wall before the Hamilton. Safety car, Tom 97 has a chance to pit, but everyone else behind is going to have completed their pit stops. So this really changes the dynamic and the complexion of the race. Tom's hard work, brilliant consistency. He'd only just got into the 1 minute 21s as the safety car came out, but here we are. This is where it really matters.
And that is the double-edged sword for Ben of pitting, because now he's going to lose out definitely to Gridjoke, probably going to lose out to a couple more drivers as well in their test wheel into the pits. Matt 212 in, his teammate Ryan 83, you can see in the pit lane as well, definitely staying behind Gridjoke when there was an opportunity to try and undercut him. Does he find himself behind test wheel? No, so he's not going to lose too much time, still behind the drivers on the row. So Fratic is still out there in his hard tyres. Dak Gavins as well, who's only recently bolted on his final set of tyres for this race. Doesn't leave Tom 97 in a particularly good spot here though, because Lolly, Gillen, Jake, they can make their final stops. Tom's still got 2 tyres to use. He's still got to use the mediums and he's still got to use the hards. Or the softs, I should say, sorry.
No, you're absolutely correct. It's not the ideal scenario for the Aston Martin driver, who'd rather have been hoping for a safety car less kind of race. We'll see what tyres he puts on at the middle phase, because now he's not going to care about how much pace he uses. He might well go mediums and then an all-out blitz on the softs to the end. We'll find out. We will find out. Tom 97 into the pit lane. 40 laps on the hard compound tyres. Cutthroat consistency. But it all counts for what tyres he now chooses next and how he goes about his strategy. On to I'm trying to look on the telemetry. It will update in a moment. As out onto the track goes Lolinober. Oh no, here we go again. Prepare yourselves. It's going to be a bit of a headache to understand what's going on here. Lolly apparently leads, but I promise he has pit. Just take my word for it. Tom has also pit. He's apparently second on the track, but he's come out of the pit lane. The safety car will catch him. Look to the pit lane if you need any confirmation, because Tom's behind the safety car at the moment. I'm trying to spot where Lolinober is on the mini-map. I'm very confused. Says he's still pit. The game's... Okay. This is very interesting. Well, safety car glitches aside, but you can all just digest, I don't even know what to call it, quite frankly, an eye massacre, we'll call it. So instead, we're going to head over to Clipbook Corner, John Harris. Let's see some eye candy for a change.
I quickly had to switch screens because I was trying to find out what was going on with the safety car then as well. So first of all, we have Ryan LAT3's perspective of the absolute shenanigans that are going to unfold and just involve everyone. So Sparks just going to the corner, Infratic, and Tuki just loses the car. Sparks having to take avoiding action. And it's been sort of topsy-turvy moves like this where the tyres are just overheating, and I've seen at least 2 or 3 drivers just completely get it wrong. And you can see over the curbs, the cars are not liking it at all. Both Ryan and Alex really struggling with that at some points. And I must say, for some reason, Tom and Lolinober not struggling over the curbs, but you can see how much of a caning the cars take around here. And he raided into another person. So just to confirm, Tuki, it was a deliberate into the wall, so we have him to thank for the safety car. Anyway, apart from that, it's been quite clean racing from everyone, so back to the commentary team.
Thank you kindly, John, for saving our bacon at the Hungary Grand Prix. And news on the block is Lolinober, as you can see, is P12. And, well, what happened, Mr. Tom Wilkinson? As Tom 97 peels in, okay, he's getting off his softs immediately, has shipped off track position. Lolinober rejoins the session, so getting into AI has actually got him out of the pit lane, completely stuck. However, you've got Tom 97 bailing off the softs, going onto the mediums. He's going to give up track position, but he has got to pray to God he can make the move stick.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance he might have done that, seeing as well in the early stages how terrible the soft tyres were after 3 or 4 laps. The overheating problems, the rear grip problems as well. But I mean, I'm surprised that he has actually gone for it, because he was in a decent spot. Whether he thinks he's got the pace, he's got the confidence to work his way through the traffic, he obviously does, because he's handed over that track position. He didn't fancy going for a little bit on the soft tyres, waiting for the gaps to try and filter out a little bit before then making his stop to jump onto the mediums and go to the end of the race. So interesting bravery there from Tom 97. Ignore the timing tower, it is completely wrong. I think he's in about 13th place, Tom 97. I haven't got his stream up, I'll get it up live for everybody. Tom 97 is in 11th at the moment, and coincidentally, after everything that's gone on, the car behind him is Lolinober. So that's worked out quite nicely for the top 2 still.
If Creator Series Team Radio was still about, long live Creator Series Team Radio, ladies and gentlemen. Tom 97, I can confirm, would be saying the following: we've been shafted, and he has been shafted quite royally, to be honest with you. Has made his stops now, has gone through all the tyres. I see him highlighting over new hard compound tyres, so I'm not sure whether he's going to stop again, maybe, and go on to another set of hards, because clearly they have the most pace. Clearly he has a great affinity with them. So if he's gonna box for new hard compound tyres and potentially make 3 stops under the same safety car, it would be bold, it'd be brazen, but nothing's impossible.
And Lolly's struggling to get back in as well. Couldn't take over his car. So the reigning champion still with issues. Hopefully Lolly does get back into this race, can still challenge to try and get himself back up to the sharp end after, of course, if you missed it, getting stuck in the pits, Lolinober. Game working very, very nicely for him there. Dropped him from what would have been P1 after Tom 97 made that extra pit stop, down into position number 12. And Tom hasn't come in again to put on the brand new hard compound tyre. So he's just going to hold off on that one. I think that would be a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. He's obviously a much better racer than me, so I could be talking absolute nonsense. I think to throw yourself just outside the top 10, fine, yeah, you've got about 25 laps, you can make that up. throwing yourself back down to what would probably be last, looking at some of the gaps. Maybe, in fairness, maybe only to P14 because there's a bit of a gap between Chappers and Sparks. Feels like a lot of work to try and get through that pack. He's still got some quick drives in there. Gillen and Jake in particular have looked really strong. Ricky into P3. Hayden Gullis in P4, everybody. I mean, that's a story in itself, right?
Oh, God, yeah. Hayden Gullis in P4. I mean, credit where credit's due. Went under the radar. And now on medium compound tyres to the end. Ricky 03 also on mediums. You've got Grid Jokes on the hards in P5. Test Wheel is in P6. What kind of wondering has happened this race? Test Wheel reserving for Karim in the Audi, channeling the spirit of the Mercurial Moroccan, finds himself in a comfortable points-paying position. Vince in P7, Tim Marduk in P8, Matt 212 in 9th, Ryan 83 with a penalty in P10. And as soon as we say it's a two-horse race, pretty much for the race win, both of them are royally cursed. Tom 97 in 11th, Lolin Ober in 12th.
It completely changes the complexion of this race as well. Alex Gillen from the back of the pack. We were questioning why he qualified last on pure pace. We soon discovered that he did some donuts. I probably don't think he was using any ERS either, which is why he contributed to starting at the back. And he said this a couple of times in the last few weeks. Qualifying does not matter as long as you can save the tyres. We saw in Austria a few weeks ago. GB started from the back, won the race. Ben started from the back, finished in second. Qualifying doesn't matter as much when you have these safety cars coming through. With the tyre strategy you've got as well, if you can get that right, you're going to make up 10 places from that position just on strategy alone.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you know what? From 21st on the grid, he finds himself right at the sharp end. Meraki, pole sitter in P2. So you've got we've got a tale of two halves. One who started right at the thick of the front, the other one who started and had to claw his way through all the traffic in the world, and has done an incredible job out of it. Lap number 44 as we headed through the Hamilton. Coincidence? I think not. Ricky 03 in the Ferrari. Could he win as he made through the Hamilton for the 44th time? I'm just saying, wilder conspiracies have happened in the Creator Series before. Lots of tyre warming going on behind. Hayden Gullis getting some energy into those mediums. Still, the pack trying to catch back up. Still got Razin, who actually he himself been brought back into this race after all of the gremlins he's had to deal with. Finally, we'll be able to close up to the pack and make hay while the sun is shining. Scotty and Dave also to catch up. And then we get racing. Big question is, who the hell do we think takes this win from here?
You'd be a brave man to look past Alex Gillen with how comfortable he looked in the early stages. Wasn't quite as strong on the mediums as he was compared to the softs right at the start, but Jake's going to be riding their safety car in the start, both of them on the hards. The group behind, with the exception of Grid Jokes, on the medium, so that could be interesting in the early stages. Tim McMardock out there on hards as well. Dak Gavins with the oldest tyres of anybody, 8 laps on his hard compound tyres. Tom 97 with a point to prove. Lonanova trying to get back into this race as well.
Well, strap yourselves in. This is going to be one hell of a theme park for the rest of this race. 25 laps to go when they cross the line. The championship chaser of Alex Gillen in pole position to take and snatch the championship lead away from the man who currently is in P8. Lots of fuel saving under this safety car. A wide line taken. Still not pulling the pit lane trigger. There's all this, safety car speed or something like that. But no harm, no foul. We are back racing here in Hungary, and Ricky 03 has got a brilliant restart down the inside on his mediums. Meraki will not want to give this up and lose time to Alex Gillen. He's got no choice. Ricky bulldozes on through to take P2. One car between himself and Alex. Track position proves pivotal, and he's got to make it count. Grid Jokes round the outside of Hayden Gullis. Reverse fortunes for one medium runner who looks to be losing places. Not to be though. Tim Etmardek's made a place up on that guy. Vince is going to go through on Test Wheel maybe, who holds it round the outside. Oh, so close to being sent spinning round. Look at Tom 97, who is immediately carving through the field like cake.
And somebody was way off as well. He exit at turn 3, smashed through the polystyrene advertising hoarding, still side by side. Tom can't make it down the inside. Watch for Lolly as well, who thought all about it. Fancied his chances of trying to pit front with the Aston Martin in front. Massive scrap going on for the leading contenders in the first 50% of this race. Now finding themselves thrown out of contention, courtesy of issues outside of their control. Tim Martin with their elbows out, couldn't quite put one over on Test Wheel, but trying to lay down a marker. And Jake, well, he was caught napping a little bit there at the restart, but Ricky looks quick here on his medium tyres, as Gillen's still just trying to fire up those hard tyres as best as he can.
He does. We know the double-edged sword of it, though, how the temperatures can flare up in an instant. We saw it from our championship leader currently as it stands at the moment. Ricky 03 looking, gunning, diving down the inside for the race lead. Ricky 03 leads the Hungarian Grand Prix using the mediums to great effect. But now it's part one. Get up the road as quickly as possible. Activate the afterburners. Part two, it is defend for your life. Unless Meraki can ruffle the feathers of Alex, that's another battle in and of itself. As Lolly and Tom have dispatched of that guy Vince, 8th and 9th for the taking for the leading two for the majority of the race.
Hayden Gullis still at the end of this train. Don't discount him for a first win in the Great Season. Don't count the Choco League, of course. TMF Martin. I think he was side by side very briefly there with Tom 97. Might have just got the numbers ever so slightly wrong. Hayden Gullis pushing for a first victory. It's not out of the question either. And just on Gillen as well, I don't think he's going to care one bit about Ricky coming through at this stage. If Jake comes through, then he might be a little bit more alarmed. As Gridjo's having to go defensive, Test Will looking racy down to turn 12. I think Gillen's very happy to just sit in second place for the moment. Let Ricky use those medium tyres because it is going to flip back. It is going to return to his favour with about 15 laps to go, you would think.
Yeah, the medium tyre runners certainly hoping that the cars now are light enough that they're not putting so much energy through the medium tyres. However, trends have shown that the hard tyres is the way to go. Scotty's crashed out at the exit of the Schumacher corner. We have another full course yellow. We have another safety car.
And that was the first possible time because Jake was about to slide it down the inside of Gillen into turn one. So just sparing the blushes there of Alex, who might have been dropping another spot. And it will neutralise things once again. Scotty, I believe that was intentionally caused, slamming it into the wall at full pelt into turn 12 to drop us to 20 runners. Dave Gaines passing away there with King Cryptics under safety car. So Ricky's still in the lead. Tom 97 up from P11 to P8. Lonanoba from P12 to P9. Finding themselves behind Tia Marduk, who's not going to be an easy man to pass. You can bet your bottom dollar on that accord. Tess Will as well has looked really feisty in that Audi, replacing Kareem 7T. So he, you would think, is also going to put up a fairly decent fight against those guys.
Well, Ben, good news for him. He was minus 1.1 laps on fuel when all is said and done, when the safety car came out. Now he can save all of that fuel during this one, and he's not got to worry about the fuel saving. He's just got to worry then about putting the pace down and getting up the places. A little bit of acclimatisation from yesterday as well in another league Team McMahon was racing in, Kareem's own league that he hosts. Did a race around the Hungaroring. Then if you leave an inch worth of a gap on the inside, he'll take a mile. He will send the car up there. So don't give him too much to work with, and by too much, I mean a millimetre. And the other thing is he will defend for his life. That is the accolades that he brings. The notoriety and reputation can go a long way out on the racetrack. Whilst we have another lull in proceedings, looking briefly to see if anyone will peel into the pit lane, do something a little bit brave. The answer is one driver does. I believe that to be Chappers, and yes, it is, to get on another fresh set of boots on his wagon. But otherwise, it's time to shuffle on over to Clipbook Corner. John Harris, what have you got?
Well, once again, so you were mentioning in the commentary how one driver was off at turn 3. It was Longanova, and I tell you what, it was very, very close to a major incident. Battling with Matt 212, just trying to get track position. And Matt has a bit of understeer, and the wheels just get caught, and it could have ended oh so badly if you know the contact physics. Sometimes they just like to lock wheels and you can't turn. But it's impressive how Matt was just so aggressive, trying to get the undercut, trying to get the switch back, but it was no use, and he actually ends up getting swallowed up by Infratic as well. So a lot of drivers playing argy-bargy, and it looks for Scotty Designs that he was just wanting to test the barriers and prove the sponsorship rights in the Formula 1 industry. And that, if you've ever seen an unsafe barrier, is a very unsafe barrier right there. So thankfully we don't have that in real life. Anyway, back to you guys.
Well, Aramco doesn't have Ram in its name for nothing. Thank you, John. All the excellent analysis in Clipbook Corner. It's not just the work he does on your screens, dictating and analysing the clips, it's also all the work behind the scenes. That's how we know things like the fuel levels, things like the tyre wear, things like drivers' struggles, their gains, their losses, you name it. It's an ever integral part of the operation as we have the safety car in at the end of this lap. Ricky 03 will dictate the pace, and to go through this next restart, I hand you to Tom Wilkinson.
Yeah, Ricky should be in the ascendancy here. Yes, the hard tyres won't take quite as long to fire up as they did on the previous restart. But we'll have to wait and see how the leading group play this, how punchy will the big guns that are finding themselves in the lower reaches of the top 10 go as well, as Ricky punches it out of the final corner and the Ferrari cuts the beam to start 49, 22 laps. The Hungarian Grand Prix to go. Gillen already moving up towards the back of him into turn 1, dives it to the inside of turn 1, big lock up on the front right, just about slams the anchors on. Bit of a wobble at the inside as well as Bridget's getting passed by Test Will. Tom 97 side by side with Lodenover as well. Big battle to try and watch onto that one, because if those two try and recover and get forward, Lodley will be desperate to try and get past Tom at this stage. Test Will, I think it was in the alley. Wide coming out of turn 3, still though just ahead of Grid Joseph's back 2 on 2, I think again off through turn 3.
There was Lolly versus Tom. Lolly's actually hit from 97th place. Pickpocket from the Italian stallion, running the American machine up to P8, Tom down to P9. This is a good safety car actually for Ricky and those on the mediums. They had just a little bit of time to save their tyres, keep them in the correct window, just to allow them to get to the end of the race that little bit easier. Alex really wanted to get up the road on Ricky 03 because look, 6/10 of a second. He's all managed to get out of this lap. We're going to cross over to lap number 50 in a much lining up Tom 97, who has Lodenover in his crosshairs, both of them probably going to work together exactly what they're doing before, in terms of one makes the move, the other one optimistic enough to sive on through as a compliment, winding round the final corner. Those mediums, how long will they last? And look at the egregious snake. Meraki is a part of it. I leave what it is up to you. Through to the first corner for the 50th time. No one making a move provisionally at the moment. Lodenover though absolutely is. Trying to chase his first race win in Creator Series Season 13. Through not only he goes, but maybe Tom 97 goes as well. Ben late on the brakes, momentum will favour the green machine, and through goes the race-winning car of the Belgian Grand Prix. Tom up to 8th, Lolly up to 7th.
Nothing to fight with either. Tom 97 fastest in the first sector. Both of these drivers on fresher medium tyres compared to Tim Marduk. Realistically, only one outcome was going to happen there, despite the defence that Tim Marduk usually would have put up, and I think just happy to hand those ones over like under confidence of any more race time here. But after these guys too hard, we've got a championship to think about as well. Let's not forget, especially with Alex Gidden looking like the favourite at this stage to pick up a race win.
There's something about race management. We saw it with Tom 97 on that hard tyre stint on the first lap. Yes, it's easier to maintain the hard compound tyre. He clearly knows where to manage the tyres, where to find the consistency. Don't write him out of a race win just yet. Neither count out Lodenover, who is right on Grid Joke's case as we head through the final corner once again. The electrocution station, but there's plenty of battery to deploy. Alex Gillen closing in on Ricky 03. Is there an opportunity to go down the inside? He shows the nose to the inside, but no more than that. Ricky 03 remains calm on the racing line. Still no real moves being made, no opportunities being picked at. Lolly closing in on Grid Jokes. That's the closest margin we have within the top 10 in terms of the battles, but they're all holding station for now.
Ricky was wide a couple of times on that last lap, and that will just light up the eyes a little bit of Alex Gillen. He now has to think about defensive because Rack was there, almost pushing him into turn number 4. Gullis still in P4. Test Will very quick in P5. Lodenover trying to assert his dominance. Apply the blowtorch to Grid Jokes in P6. And Tim Marduk now 1.1 seconds off the back of Tom 97. Ben still with issues.
Indeed. Dropping back, will be out of overtake range by the end of this lap unless there's some battles to go on. That will lend himself back into the equation. Catches up by a 10th through Buda and Pest. However, Hungary not playing nice with the championship leader. Ricky still leads. Gillen in P2 closing in at every single opportunity. We're hearing from our man in Clipper Corner, Ben has horrendous understeer, so less of a problem than what medium tyres where his rears were overcooking themselves. Now he just can't reinvigorate the tyres whatsoever. No energy being put through the Pirellis, and we cross over to lap 52. Warning signs for the championship leader, but red light spells danger, and Alex Gillen is about to put the sword to Ricky 03. Down the inside. Great move from the Haas driver. Ricky's not done though. He'll burn the battery. He's got every single opportunity to keep the race lead. Has to fight the farm on it. And then suddenly, Meraki's going to try and go around the outside. Big snap through the Hamel turn. And Hayden Gullis could pick a pocket. We hear something from Clipboard Corner as well. And that's Benner's wing damage.
Yeah, seeing that in his chat as well. Nothing that I can see so far popping up on the MFD. But definitely them saying that he's got a little bit of damage in there, and that is why his pace is so poor at this stage. Even questioning why he didn't fix it under the safety car. So it must have been picked up under that first safety car restart before Scotty threw it into the wall. So an interesting one there, clearly hindering Ben a lot more than he thought.
Still, the helicopter shot dictates a sumptuous scene. The top 8 all within a hair's breadth of one another. Tom 97 closes in on Lodinova. Hayden Gullis is piling on the pressure. Lolly goes through on Grid Jokes. Big argy-bargy in the background. You just saw it there. Clattering wheelbases between the Cadillac and the Fury from Vienza. As Tom 97 looks to add even more enticement and flair into this fight. Through the final corner they go, just pushing the V-car through for a moment, and now battery to burn. Loads of battery. Battery management has been no issue for this man. Battery saved from Grid Jokes. Tom shows the nose to the inside. Tom will be ahead at the apex. Completely clears it. Tries to go for the block pass, but is going to end up with a spicy switchback from the RB. And he's going to have to think about another opportunity because there's no avenue through the Hamilton, or is there? Look for the narrow line. Alex Gillen retakes the lead of the race. No, Tom can't make his way through. He's walked Grid Jokes out of the overtake range though. Grid Jokes still defending extremely hard to keep his place on the road. But Tom getting Grid Jokes out of that battery range will make that a lot easier for him in laps to come.
It just looked like a bit of a clumsy send down the inside though. Looked like he wasn't fully committed despite braking late and having a look to the inside. Then he saw the gap open up and went, well, I might as well go for it. Then just went a little bit too deep. So Tom 97 just making a bit of a mess of that overtake from where I was sitting on Grid Jokes. Yes, it hasn't cost him anything apart from a lap where he's in P7 rather than P8 because with the pace that he's got, I think he's going to absolutely blast past. Maybe right now, it's off the road as well. That's Hayden trying to steal third place away from Jake, both of them off the track. Enter Tesla, who picks that one up on a silver platter. Hayden still on the inside, bit of contact. Jake moving right over, I think, to let Hayden go through. So it must have been a bit of argy-bargy. Test will now onto the podium with all of that going on. Looks like Jake's trying to let Hayden back through, so it must be Jake braking too late, forcing Hayden off the road or turning in on him, which tyre locked them, sent them both off the track. That brings Lodinova into the fray as well. Long way round into turn number 1. Chances of the first victory in the Cricket Series falling very quickly for Hayden Gullis, down to P5 surely. P6 in a matter of time. Has he got Lolly covered? We know Lolly will be brave under braking. Locks the front left into turn 2. Will he finally slide past Gibson Wells?
You saw the car placement from Tom 97 in the background, judging it to try and pick the punch on the Williams. Not going to happen. Hayden has enough electricity at his disposal to thwart the attempts of Tom 97. Lap 54 of this race, and great news if your name's Alex Gillen or Ricky 03, you've got rid of the pack behind as Tom goes through at the driving centre. Exemplary, a schooling on the Williams driver from the green machine. Through they go, 16 upgrades in real life. This man hasn't needed them. He's had a sumptuous race, been caught out by safety cars, make no mistake, but he's making up for lost time. Up to 6th place, then chasing down a potential podium in a quick fashion.
Yeah, he's got to be looking at Lolly and thinking, right, you're the ticket to take you back up to Gillen, back up to Ricky, who've just managed to escape ever so slightly. Jake's still in P4. He didn't let Hayden back through, so I don't know what necessarily the plan was there. If he got an illegal overtake perhaps on Hayden, they just microscopically switched places as they went off the road, and then as he tried to let him back through, got it back straight away. So an interesting one. I wonder if John can maybe see the clip on that. But now to the inside of turn 1 to try and get back up into the podium places. Testwell fights this around the outside, keeps his foot pinned. Got to be careful because Lolly chomping at the bit to slide through also inside of turn 3. Deja vu for Lolly from the previous lap. Testwell's going to fight it a little bit harder than Hayden did. By the time they get to the apex of 3, reigning champion now P4.
There we go, Lodinova with the bit between his teeth. The red mist descends and he's got Meraki between himself and a podium place. Has got some extreme pace as Lodinova. Obviously he was aggrieved, I'll put is the word I would use, after the pit stop debacle, after not being able to get back in. His AI, I think, pit him back onto mediums. The worst possible scenario, or maybe he chose to go into mediums, I don't know. Either way, he's making up for lost time, just in the same way that Tom 97 is, both in 4th and 6th. Ricky keeping up nicely with Alex Gillen. Remember, the mediums won't retain their pace very well, 15 laps each on their respective tyres, but Ricky's still showing there is pace, and that comes, of course, with the physics of it. You have less weight in the car, therefore less energy going through the tyres. Razin thought he'd pick 2 for the price of 1, however Ryan and Matt 2-on-2 have just gone through on him. He's trying to make his way up to P12, still a decent recovery opportunity here.
And hearing from John, on that Meraki Hayden Gullis battle, the most disgracefully diabolical dive bomb into turn 12 from Hayden, taking Jake off the road with him, and then Jake did get an illegal overtake despite being ahead going into the corner. So bad luck there for Jake on that one. Actually managed it pretty well to let Hayden back through and then get straight back past, as Hayden, I think, was brought there battling with Test Will and potentially Rolly, I think, was in and around that little scrap as well into the penultimate and the final corner. And what it's done effectively is almost ruin everybody else's chances of potentially winning this race. Hayden chucking it to the inside of 12, split this train up, And at the moment, it's Alex Gillen versus Ricky O'Three. With the tyre offset that Gillen's going to have, those hard tyres will be significantly better than the mediums by probably lap 65, definitely. Should be Alex Gillen coming out on top in this scenario.
Looks like it. Credit where credit's due as well. The man in 5th place, Test Will, take a bow, wasn't familiar with your game. On this last stint of the medium tyres, he's shifted gears as well. In the same kind of ballparking pace as Meraki, lolling over, Tom 97. He's got some really good energy about him. Keep it going. Invigorated by the spirit of the Mercurial Moroccan as down the inside goes Racing Jai. It was late, it was lavish, but the Haas driver is still alongside. Side by side they will run. Hards versus mediums. We'll see the supremacy of the tyre life as Matt 212 cuts to the inside because he's bailing into the pit lane. Into the pits comes Matt 212. Razin takes P12. Safso maybe with a chance into turn number 1.
Leaves Razin a little bit exposed. We don't see the Macarena wing as yet on that Red Bull car, although it might send him into a wall if he's not careful. Look at Tom 97. Does have a look to the inside of turn number 2. Don't think he was alongside. No, didn't have a foothold in that battle. Tesla turning in. Didn't have to worry on that occasion, but the run out of 3 up the hill into turn 4 will be a brave man to go the long way round into turn 4. Tom off the road, not giving the space there, keeps his foot in it to the inside of 5. Eventually has to back out on that one, trying to get his elbows out. Tesla really defending, staunchly defending this P5, but I think he's deep into the chicane. Is he off the road? Can't quite see. No, does keep it within the track limits.
He's trying to figure out if Tom 97's now trying to do the same thing he did to Grid Jokes inadvertently in terms of get Test Will out of that close range slipstream, meaning he has less pace, meaning Tom has an easier avenue up the places. It happened once, it was so nice, he's going to try and do it twice. Closes in towards the Schumacher bend for his 57th lap on the block through the Senna curve. Named so because Senna, inaugural pole sitter, that guy Vince goes through on Ryan 83. The Alpine dream is just getting better and better for that guy Vince, who is finding himself reinvigorated at the Hungaroring. Plenty of pace to do, but he pits as well. I don't know if there's something we've seen that he's seen that we haven't. The thing that we've seen is that he's actually been on 2 sets of hard, so he had to pit again. No questions asked. I'm surprised Matt 212 did, because he had completed his pit strategy, and now he finds himself languishing in P20 on the road.
Set the fastest middle sector though, as Matt, so every cloud and all that, you might be down in P20, but you might get a fastest lap to your name as well. Critical move this will be for Lolonova if and when he pulls it off. Should have a pace advantage still, you would think, over the leading duo. Definitely Ricky is finally Tom 97 back into the top 5. Couldn't get it done around the outside on the previous lap. Gets it done up the inside into turn 4 this time. Much easier move as well. You can set his sights once again on the Mercedes and Cadillac in front. There's still only 2.5 seconds back down the road from Gillen, who seems to have everything under control at the minute. But can that change if he is just put under a little bit of pressure from drivers coming through? I think they're just running out of time though.
Improvise and then adapt and then overcome. It's exactly the copybook that Tom 97 has read from, and it's worked pretty damn well. Next target, Lolinoba, who has still not managed to pick the punch on Meraki. Maybe Tom will feel like he's got a chance to do so. So there we go. Lap number 58, crossing over to 59 of this race. Racing Chai has got past Tiamat Marduk. Ryan 83's got him as well. So maybe a mistake creeping in for Tiamat Marduk on that lap. Either that or he just got pipped to the post by both drivers. Not entirely sure. Championship leader losing yet more places because of that wing damage.
Will he score points? Looking at it, probably, as that's defending into attacking for Fabio. Saw Dave Game was coming, sent it to the inside of Safso as well. Bumper cars as he shoulders the Ferrari out wide there, trying to make a move into turn 1. Will continue the long way around into turn 2. There's contact again. Fabio, I think, turning a little bit early, trying to catch the car about 5 times. Now throws it into the wall at the exit of 2. Dave Gaiman with a bit of a wobble as well. And Fabio, I think, is going to kebab himself on the barrier. Not yet, with the bit that sticks out. He's going to have to try and do a better job. Safety car has been deployed though, and Fabio is out of that one. That guy Vince has retired as well. Interesting decision there. Maybe could have made back some places under the restart. I'd be amazed if Tim runs in pit here. He's down in P11. I think he doesn't see much difference between a P13 and a P11. So if he pits to get that front wing changed, I think it gives him a better chance probably of moving forward.
It's a bloodbath at the Hamel turn. 2 drivers full foul at turn number 2. I absolutely agree. Tiamat Marduk should peel into the pit lane. Might as well. Nothing to lose for the championship leader. And that's the best position he could possibly be in, because a Tiamat Marduk with nothing to lose is a dangerous Tiamat Marduk out on the racetrack. We know he can pick up the places, as everyone and their dog is going to peel into the pit lane. Alex, Ricky, Meraki, Tom 97, Test Will. Lolinoba is showing apparently he hasn't pit, and I'm interested by that decision. No, he's apparently stayed out. I am perplexed by this decision because his tyres, medium compounds, are 19 laps old. He might think he can hold the track position. He's got Hayden Gullis between himself and the chasing pack. Racing Choice recovered to 3rd place. How about that?
Here and there. He didn't want to break his computer again. He didn't want his PC blowing up as it did when he got stuck in the pits last time. And if that is the case, not surprised at all. We've seen how difficult it is to overtake. But I think in this scenario, with the tyre offset these guys are going to have, brand new softs for Gillen, brand new softs it will probably be for most of the field, if not brand new mediums. I find it unlikely. He's going to have to use Hayden and Razin as effective rolling roadblocks behind him, moving barricades, moving chicanes to keep Alex Gillen away for as long as possible. And if there's one thing we know about Lolly, he is quite up for the fight, isn't he? He's not going to go down. He's not going to back down without putting in 110% effort to try and hold on to this race win. And remember, he's got a title to defend. He's only 19 points off the lead. He's only 17 points, I think it is, maybe 16 off the back of Alex Gillen. Doesn't want Gillen beating him this race, and that margin extending even more.
Yeah, not far away at all is our reigning champion, of course, from Season 12. It's one of the most consistent seasons in terms of finishing results in the Creator Series. I don't know the maths behind it. I will do it for you another time. But Lolinoba knows how to be consistent. Things have not materialised. This is a prime opportunity for a potential first race win of the season. But it's not necessarily panic stations. It's only round 7. We've got 14 rounds in total. We're reaching effectively the summer break, quote unquote, before we head to Singapore next time out for round number 8. And then round number 9 is where you lovely people get to vote. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. You get to dictate where we travel to at round number 9, 2 rounds time after this. But it's not panic stations yet. There is still plenty of time for things to change hands.
So who stayed out? Top 3 all stayed out. As did Dave Gaming in P5 and King Cryptics in position 11. So those guys have stayed out. They're going to continue on along with a couple of stragglers right at the back. Matt 212 didn't come into the pits either. So I think his fastest lap, darn it, Matt, your fastest lap is going to be taken away, unfortunately. But I think we've obviously had some goings on. Can Mr. John Harris in Clipbook Corner potentially talk us through them?
I certainly can. There's quite a bit that's gone on, yes, for sure. First of all, for Hayden Gullis, maybe I won't commentate this one because if I speak, I'm in big trouble. I think we've seen what happens there. It's a bit unfortunate. He realises it, you can see it in his face that he's not gone well, but just the shenanigans that happen afterwards. We'll see now from Meraki's perspective because it's easier to understand. Here we go. So Meraki just doesn't see the dive bomb coming. He's completely taken by surprise. A little few words that I can't repeat coming out, but there you go. Illegal overtake is the problem right there. And so he's had to just completely back out of it. And we'll see from a different perspective, Lolinoba's perspective, because it's even worse for him. He's just trying to get by. He's just trying to use the pace advantage that he's got, and he just finds this wall of cars. Testwell trying to get by, Hayden Gullis trying to get by, Meraki trying to give up the position, and he just ends up going, what is going on? And for Infratic, just a bit of a, let's say, a little bit of a head loss, and it just ended up effectively just taking him out of the race, trying to speed things up. So I've noticed that we are about to get under green flag racing, and yeah, it's just a tag with Safso, and yeah, unfortunate head loss. Anyway, back to you guys.
Thank you, John. Expert analysis in Clipbook Corner. Lolinoba will take us away, probably go as early as he wants to, because he knows he's got the perpetual pace. That he does. We're back racing for what should be the final time in Creator Series Hungary Season 13, and it's Lolly, your race leader. Hayden Gullis in P2. I was going to go Jean-Marie Galestra, but look at this. Racing Chai having to try and defend from Alex Gillen on those new soft tyres. You know he's going to gazump him, and oh boy, he does. Alex Gillen through into the podium places already. 2 more cars between himself and the front of the field. It's going to be a turkey shoot out there, Tom.
And that was very straightforward. Just so much later under brakes. Yes, Razin tried to give him a shove to the extremities of the circuit. Gillen having absolutely none of that, as you would expect on the brand new soft tyres, and already all over the back of Hayden. This might be the easiest few laps of his career in Creator Series. Gillen, because to the inside of the chicane we go. Doesn't fancy it. Can buy this time, you would think. Tom 97 to P7 ahead of Dave Gaming. Jake already making that move in the first half of the lap. So look at this, Alex Gillen looking like the big favourite to pick up his first win of the season here.
Inglesi Polizia, says Lolinoba, because that's what he needs Hayden Gullis to be. Stop Alex Gillen from taking your spot and getting up to first place. That is the order. Hayden Gullis is acknowledging the order at the moment. Tom 97 is deploying his own orders though, weaving this way and that way to try and carve through on Ricky 03. Test Wheel goes through on Dave Gaming, who is a rolling roadblock on his own right. But through the final corner we go for lap number 62. The soft tyres, they can overheat easily. They can lose their performance easily. Alex knows that he needs to get through. Quick smart down the inside. Brave on the brakes. Brave as you want to be, but you've got so much grip to work with, it does not matter. Meraki moves through to P4. Ricky 03 goes through on Rasin Chai, who is plummeting positions left, right, and centre. Tom 97 could just swing round the outside, courtesy of the tyres that he has. Grip is soft, compound is softer, grip is at an all-time high. Through he goes. Green Machine P6 and lolling over under immense pressure now.
This is going to have to be the almightiest of defensive acts. Rearguard action here from Lolly if he wants to hang on. Gillen V's off the corner, gets the run into the chicane. Didn't want it on the previous lap. This time he does, but there's contact. Lolly sent sideways over the curb. Gillen having absolutely no worries there. No qualms as he blasts his way through. 83 ahead of Meraki. Tom 97 side by side with Ricky as well.
Tom goes through. Great move into Budapest. Quite literally, the script's right itself, honestly, but he goes through. Fantastic effort. Tom 97 trying to go through on Meraki as well. Into the Schumacher corner. The spirit of Schumacher possessing him. Big contact. Grid jokes and Test Wheel round. And into the wall goes the Audi. And it's gone oh so wrong. It's Rasin, in fact. Rasin caught up as well. Deary me, it wasn't Grid Jokes, my apologies. Rasin Chai, and we have another safety car. You thought it would be the last one? Forget it. We're going again.
And Test Will, you have to feel for him. He's gone. He was disqualified going backwards. Oh, a podium could have been an opportunity. A top 5 could have been an opportunity. Stepping in for Kareem. In the end, he'll be classified in last place, or he'll be unclassified in last place with that disqualification. But Gillen with the lead now. If you're lolling over, surely you can't stay out again. You've got absolutely no chance of clinging on. Hayden Gullis still there, he managed to hold on to position number 3. These guys that have stayed out, another safety car is just going to make their life doubly worse. It brings everybody back together.
Surely it can't continue like this. Oh, it can. Oh, it can. Lolling over could well stay out and try and hold the track position, as could Hayden van der Gullis, who sits in P3. Meraki, Tom 97, Ricky 03, they are hungry customers waiting to pounce. But we have the return of the virtual burnt Mylander, and good news as well, Clipbook Corner is about to get quite busy. We'll hold that thought at the moment though. Not ideal for Alex Gillen, I think one could say, because if Meraki and Tom get through these two, Alex had a decent little buffer. Now that that safety car's come out, he doesn't have that breathing space, and he's got two very big heavy hitters waiting to try and prize away a race win out there.
Yeah, but the problem for everybody else is Gillen's got those two cars in the way. Yes, Jake and Tom might get past Lolly and Hayden in the first half a lap, say, when we get back under green flag running. Gillen's probably going to be a second and a half up the road already. That's the pace advantage he's got compared to the used tyres. So if you're lolling over, I mean, there's no chance, unless Alex Gillen makes a mistake here, that you're going to win this race. Like I said before, going to have to be the most immense of rearguard action to hold on to place if he does indeed stay out, which I think he's going to there. So Lolly is going to be massively up against it. Ben, we haven't spoken about him too much, back up into P11, still an opportunity to try and get some damage limitation done. But with the carnage that went on, John, do you want to take us through it again?
Bit of irony in this one, because I said I was just about to go on a break and I thought they're battling, aren't they? So I'm going to just stick around and see what happens. Stuff happens, as they say. So first of all, Alex Gillen, Lolanoba, he's just trying to find a way past Lolanoba. A little bit, maybe the tyres are out of the optimal temperature window, and you can see Alex gets a great amount of traction on the softs. And it's just a case of two cars into one with the curbs as well, just a little bit of largy-bargy. And it looks a lot more clean from Alex's perspective when he gets through. No harm done really well on low ball, quite foul, but that's reality of racing. He was up the inside. But Rasin and Test Will, they just get unlucky as well. Ricky having a bit of problems here over the curb, and it just sets everything in motion. As Ricky defends, Rasin has to take a compromised line, and it's just touching argy-bargy again. Test Will at the inside. Rasin loses it again on throttle, like we saw in the opening stages of the race, and for Test Will, it was a disqualification. And Rasin also just struggling to rejoin the track. So, again, this race just delivers in terms of drama. What else can I say? Back to you guys.
Thank you, John. Back against the wall in Clipbook Corner, as it's the situation for lolling over, and Hayden Gullis, however, has not put a foot wrong at all. Expert analysis, as always. We have 5 tours of the Hungaroring to go. Field is queued up like a hungry caterpillar. Safety car will peel in at the end of this lap. And Alex Gillen has got to escape up the road quick smart. He has 2 rolling roadblocks in the form of Lolinova and Hayden Gullis. Meraki and Tom 97 to try and pip him to the post. These are the tyres, everyone. Majority on newer tyres, apart from a couple of exceptions. The likes of Lolly, Hayden, Dave Gaming in P8, Chappers in P13. They all have a compromise on their longevity, but also their pace that they can apply. Alex, Meraki, Tom and co, they have none of those worries. We are back racing. Alex pulls the trigger early, same as what Lolly did on the previous restart. But Meraki is right underneath the diffuser of Hayden Gullis. The determined dogfight will begin to ensue as they head towards the PK corner. Will there be a dive? No need to wait and dilly-dally. Hayden outbreaks himself. Exactly what Meraki needs to slip up the inside, and Tom 97 might need as well to make the move stick. He's going to switch to the inside. Hayden tried to cover him off. It was oh so close to devastation. Somehow not a complete collateral damage affair. And now it's the race up towards Mansell Corner, which Tom can't win.
Got to get these overtakes done now. Probably should have got them done a couple of corners ago. Really good defence from Hayden after having his pants pulled down into turn 1, outbreaking himself. Lolly now defending into the chicane, fighting very hard over the curve to go, run wide. Tom 97 gets that place from Hayden Gullis. Gillen, though, 2.5 seconds already up the road, and Jake's still tucked up underneath the rear wing of the Cadillac.
Tom 97, according to the telemetry, with 3 next to his warnings. Lolly with the same. I assume 2 of those for track limits. If there's any opportunity for these drivers, it can only be done if they keep their record and nose very clean indeed, because if it can go all very wrong in an instant. Look how close the field is. Tiamat Marlik's up to P10, but Safso is having a great scrap with him for the outskirts of those positions. Meraki, look at the gap Alex Gillen's got. It's 3 seconds. That's your race winner, ladies and gentlemen, unless he has an absolutely catastrophic bottle. Meraki down the inside. Tom 97 weaving across the track to make his car as wide as Magyar Nagidic, but through the first corner they go. Meraki, easy move. Tom 97 couldn't get on the outside of Hayden Gullis. He can absolutely get round the outside of Lolinova, who took as much speed into the corner as he could. Contact with the diffuser of Meraki, and that's all she wrote for the battle for P3.
Master of his own downfall a little bit there. Lolly just tapping the back of Jake, slowed himself up, and that allowed the overspeed that Tom had built to take him clean around the outside, get himself back up onto the podium places. Still opportunities, obviously in that battle for second. Now to the inside of the chicane, had a look late, but Jake had it covered around the outside. Lights up the rear tyres though, driving on ice a little bit here is Meraki all over the place. Tom 97 trying to put him under the cosh, under as much pressure as he possibly can.
Tom 97, when he's finished on the podium, which has been quite a few times in Creator Series Season 13, 3 P3s in a row from round 3 to round number 5. We don't talk about the Belgian Grand Prix. Every time though he's been P3. Can he finally break that particular jinx and finish in P2, get himself ever so close to a P1? That's the big question. Tom 97 will have the answers, I have no doubt. As on to lap... Behave, children. Alex Gillen leads the Hungarian Grand Prix. Never mind, it's lap 68. We are saved. He leads with 3 tours of this track to go. You've then got Meraki P2 with Tom 97 in P3. Softs versus mediums, and Ricky 03 is using his new tyres to great effect versus Hayden Gullis. Had the outside line for turn number 1, is pushed right to the limit by the Williams to just try and cut the corner off as much as he could. Try as he might though, Ricky 03, there is no such thing as try, there is only do. And he does make his way through to P5. It's up to Mansell Corner again. Tom 97 is right on Meraki's case.
Jake, under the most pressure he could possibly find himself under. Medium tyres for the Merc, soft tyres for Tom to the outside again, fancies it into the chicane again. Jake is a little bit all over the place, keeps the Aston Martin in his back pocket still. And as much as these guys fight, does just bring everybody back to them. Lolinova, yes, he's got no speed compared to them, but if they trip over each other a couple of times, don't discount Lolly for trying to force his way back through again. Recharging his Jake on the run into 12. Tom doesn't fancy it to the inside.
He's going to save up all of that electrical energy, all of that determination for the start-finish straight. They're going to head through this corner for the 68th time. It's Taser Station being visited, and Tom 97 has got a lethal weapon in that green machine. And the answer is it's the art of all-out attack. Through onto the penultimate lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. No point looking at Alex Gillen when you've got this spicy set of affairs. Makes Meraki defend to the inside. The switchback is sent as narrow as he possibly can by the Mercedes. It's a drag race now, down towards the Hamilton outside line for Tom 97. He's going to try and hold it, to try as he might. Meraki covers it. Brilliant defending again. The canvas of defence, painted with oh so vibrant colours. Race now towards the Mansell corner. Make your car as big as possible. Meraki's got that free real estate every day of the week.
Body shot after body shot. This from Tom in the face of Jake, or in the body of Jake, you should say. This is Safso against Razin through turn 5. Safso holds it around the outside. If we think about it, yes, we 2-lunge it to the inside of 6. Got to be careful through 7. Razin on the outside won't be given too much leeway, but around the outside into 8. Safso making heavy weather of this for Razin to try and get through on those soft compound tyres. Safso doing a really nice job there. Lolly with a 3-second. That could be crucial. Ducking and weaving behind the Mercedes. Tom 97 again, trying to put one over. Jake just taking these punches into the braking zone, though still somehow ahead of the Aston.
Heart breaks for him. It just was not meant to be for Lolinoba today, whether it was the game, whether it was sometimes his own luck, who even knows. There's so many different elements you could cast over the shadow of potential victory. But either way, the penalty is the cherry on top. And we head on to the final lap of this race. Still a battle for P2 that needs to be discussed. But Alex Gillen has, well, weathered the luck game very well indeed. Played his strategy to perfection. And other than that, has hardly put a foot wrong out there, if at all. Started 21st on the grid. He said famously before this race, qualifying doesn't matter. Well, he's putting that right up to the top of the scripture in a big way. Meraki repels the offensive from Tom 97, who's running out of time. Is probably going to have to settle for a P3. A bit of a lull in the action. Ricky 03 could take a place from Lolinoba, but it's just through the Danube for Alex Gillen as they all cascade their way through. A yellow flag spin for Matt 212, and another moment in through the chicane. But Alex Gillen through the Schumacher corner, and as we head through the fulcrum point of the season into our quote-unquote summer break, the championship lead is going to swing in favour of the Haas driver. Hungary writes history and create a series. Greatness is depicted. Alex Gillen crosses the line to win from 21st on the grid and take his second race win of the season, and crucially, the championship lead as well. Meraki and Tom's squabble is settled. They'll all cascade when penalties are applied. Damage limitation for Tiamat Marduk. Heartbreak Hotel elsewhere. What a spectacle Hungary has provided.
We said after he halved his grid position after one lap in this race, I think he went from 21st to inside the top 10 after one lap. That's pretty ominous. Looks like some good pace as he sides his way through the field. The car looks so hooked up in that first stint. Thought maybe he was definitely going to be within a shout of winning the race. Needed a bit of help with the safety car, of course, because Tom and Lolinoba were in a different league at one stage. But once he had the opportunity to lead this race and control it with the safety cars, did not look back. Second time he takes the checkered flag first in this season, and after starting at the back, ends up with the biggest winning margin of the season so far.
Expert execution from the now championship leader. We head into the halfway point. Still a long way to go. 7 rounds of Creator Series Season 13 that are yet to transpire. But the ball in favour in the court of Alex Gillen. Your race winner, your fastest lap person, and your cleanest drive. Just give him all the awards, for God's sake. Safso, though, driver of the day. And Blue Fox with the most overtakes. So well done to you, Monsieur Blue Fox. To the results then. Alex Gillen, your race winner, cleans up and cleans house. Meraki in P2 from first on the grid, with Tom 97 taking yet another P3. Ricky in fourth. Hayden Gullis takes a memorable P5. Grid Jokes, Tiamat Marduk, Safso, Lolly and Razin round out your top 10. What a race. A tale of two halves for many drivers, but you can't fault Alex. Expert execution all the way.
Absolutely incredible scenes. Oh my god, was that just banging? I love that from start to finish. We never knew what was coming. Everyone breathe, okay? Breathe. That was just phenomenal. Hungary has delivered, John. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That race was absolutely amazing from start to finish. Just the amount of action. And I'm sure that from the smiles that I saw on drivers' faces during the race, they were having a whale of a time. Right. If I could have just 1 second in the cookbook corner, I want to present something that I've never seen before in motor racing, which is Alex Gillen becomes the first driver that I know of to do donut celebrations before the race and before winning it. There you go. He is inevitable. But I mean, what can you say about this guy? He's just absolutely got the strategy on top of, and every calculation just seemed preordained during that race. Yes, a bit lucky, but when he needed the pace, he had it, and was able to demonstrate that. And the donuts are just the cherry on the cake.
Exactly. Alex Begillin, indeed. That's going to stick for me. All right, let's do it. Talking about Alex Gillin, let's get him into the interview. Let's have a word with him, because this man has basically just done a last to first at Hungary, was 2 seconds off the pace in qualifying. I still need to know if that was sandbagging or not, and has now won the race confidently. Mr. Gillin, well done.
G'day. Thank you so much, guys. What a race that was, man. I've left a family camping trip early to do this, so I said, you know what? We got to keep it interesting today. I don't want to just potentially just sit in P3 all race or something. That sounds boring. So yes, it wasn't a mistake in qualifying. I did about 15 donuts on my outlap and then tried to qualify, which obviously didn't go too well for me. So yeah, I hope to not be quite at the back, but yeah, last place in qualifying, and then after Scotty DSQ'd, it was P21 on the grid, but didn't expect to win from there, but we absolutely take those. What a race that was.
Mate, I cannot wait to just see an analysis from yourself throughout that race, because there's so much that happened. There's so much that happened throughout that I can't remember half of it. I just want to talk about your first lap first off, because I blinked my eyes. You started 21st and you were P10 already. Talk me through that.
I don't know, really. I think in stark contrast to the Silverstone safety car restart, where I seem to always be the wrong place, wrong time, I think it was just right place, right time mostly. Just there was no outrageous lunges. It was a good start off the grid. A few people in front of mediums, that helped. So I was sort of 4 or 5 up before turn 1. That was obviously huge. And then, yeah, just sort of keeping it clean, really. Just staying out of trouble. A few little incidents here and there. I was sneaking through on those softs. And, yeah, that was, I think that was pretty instrumental to my race, to be able to stay anywhere near the front. And then also the overtakes I did under that penultimate safety car to get back to the lead.
Yeah.
In the end, that gave me a little buffer to the guys on the same tyres, and that made it a lot easier for me for sure. So I think those 2 moments were absolutely key.
I love it. I just think this is probably one of your best drives that I've seen. Also, at the same time, with Ben just not seeming to be kind of turning up today, this you might look back in 7 rounds and go, do you know what? At Hungary, things started to change a little bit, because you have gained a lot of points today, my friend.
I think you may well be right. It's a big foothold in the championship. Fastest lap, cleanest driver as well. So 27 points, which might be the most points anyone's ever got from just a regular feature race. I'm not too sure. But
right.
I'm very happy with that. But yeah, Ben just... I mean, obviously, I had to overtake him, which is never easy. It took me quite a long time. We get him in the end. He just had no pace. I don't know if it was set up or what, but he just seemed to have no pace today. So fair play to him, finishing P7 in the end, though. I knew he wouldn't be too far down. I saw him in like 14th or something with not that long to go, but I was like, he won't finish there. It's Ben. He was still getting to the top 10. I think it was P10 start of the last lap, so fair play to him. Is P7, I think, on an off day. That's not too bad, is it?
Not too bad at all. Apparently, it was very bad tyres. They were very hot throughout that entire race, and you know what that's like when your tyres are just too hot. So probably a setup issue. I'm sure he'll be back next time. But yeah, final thoughts from yourself and anything you'd like to say to your fans out there that have been screaming, Gillin, yay, I'm so happy you came back from the barbecue and the camping, yay.
I don't think anyone screamed that, but we can
I
pretend,
did.
can't we?
I did.
Okay, I'll take my one fan. I'll take it. Yeah, no, I just really enjoyed that race. It was really, really good fun.
Brilliant.
Fair play to everybody. Everyone was super clean. You know, a few squeezes here and there for sure, but that's part of the course, isn't it? So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. So GG's, thank you to the commentary team as well.
Well done, mate. It's always a pleasure. Right, hope to see you back next time. Go take care of yourself.
Guys.
Go enjoy your Saturday night. Well done, mate.
Cheers, bye.
All right, let's see who else we're going to talk to tonight, because I have some questions for him. We are going to go with Mr. Meraki. Jake, hello. Hi.
Hello.
How are you? Well done.
Good.
It's quite a good little battle at the end with you and Tom. Let's talk us through that. That was great.
Car behind have faster tyre.
Yeah.
Me try to defend and get elbows out against car with faster tyre, and it worked really well. There was a couple of hairy moments where I thought he was going to get past me, but yeah, no, honestly, that was a lot of fun. Like, I don't even really care about not winning. I guess I care a little bit, but
yeah,
I think like mine and Gillen's pace today was actually like very, very similar, almost like identical. Because when me and him were with each other, I think it was in the medium stint.
Yeah,
we were just like trading times. Like it was just identical. But I think like a few things at the end of the safety cars kind of blessed him, really, like getting some, you know, like slower cars in between him and me.
Yeah, because like when that safety car restarted, again, it blinked and he was 2 seconds up the roads. Like that tire difference was quite crazy. I know obviously new soft tires are going to be faster, but I don't think I expected them to be that much quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think it was because the tires were that fast. It's just because, I guess, maybe because he could like fire them up a bit more.
Yeah.
And then first like 1 or 2 laps, but then after that, the mediums are probably the better tire because the softs just overheat straight away. So I think the only reason why I lost so much time at the end was because I was fighting so hard. I was literally fighting for my life with Tom 97. So
Yeah. That was good to
it
watch,
was-
to be fair.
yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. That's kind of why I'm not too bummed out because that fight was just a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I'm sure they'll say the same thing. When you've got a race like that where you have like what 3 safety cars in the final 12 laps, like what is it? Is it almost luck at that stage that you're in the right position, or like do you make your
oh,
own luck?
100%.
Like,
It's just pure luck. It is
it's hard,
pure
right?
luck.
It's just one after
Yeah.
another. Like,
Yeah, 'cause you
Perez
never know
he had a
when-
bad day.
Yeah, you never know when a safety car is going to come out. So it's like sometimes you get blessed by it. Like Gillen loves to say the Creator Series RNG thing.
Yes,
Like sometimes he gets shafted by it, and now this week he's monumentally blessed by it.
Oh, he'll have
It's
no
like
complaint this week.
Every single safety car worked out in his favor.
Yeah.
Like so, it is what it is. It is what it is.
I love it. Yeah, there'll be no moaning from Gillen. Like, he
Yeah.
has things to say in the chat sometimes. By the way, when safety cars don't go his way, just in case you
Yeah.
don't know what we're talking about, everyone. Yeah, love it. All right, Jake, give me some final thoughts from yourself and anything you like to say to your fans, mate.
I am much happier compared to my P16 raw pace in Spa last weekend.
Yeah, I heard you were
Maybe-
in the bin, mate, weren't you?
Yeah, Bin doesn't even really like do it justice. Like I think I was the slowest out of everybody driving. Like it was horrific, worst time of my life. And now we're happy.
Love it. And now there you go.
So-
Now you get a P2 and a well-earned P2 as well, not a lucky one.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Exactly, mate. You've done it. Well done. All right, you go enjoy your Saturday night. I'm going to go talk to Tom about his thoughts about that. I'm sure he'll be a little bit not as happy as you, but I'm sure he still had a lot of fun.
Okay.
Take care of
hopefully.
yourself, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
All right, let's talk to Mr. Tom 97. This man, Mr. Tom 97, has been creeping up into these podiums more and more and more. He will get there eventually to the top step, I know, but I'm sure you got to say that was quite a fun battle with you and Meraki at the end there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hopefully, I'm muted. It was a lot
You're
of fun. Good run. 4 out of the 5 races I've done. Last 5 are podiums, P3s, all P3s.
All P3s, I have noticed this.
Just had
It
an
is almost a
absolute-
curse.
Yeah, just had an absolute stinker last race to finish P11. That was
Fair.
the bad one. But I feel like I should have won today. I feel a little bit hard done by.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about that because there was quite a pivotal moment in the race with the double pit stop and the safety car. I feel like you were rocking that hard tire strat. Like, talk me through, why did you do the double pit? Looking back, are you regretful of that? Obviously, hindsight is awful and we never know, but talk me through it.
Yes, pretty simple, really. I got very unlucky. The safety car count comes out lap 40. That was the exact lap I was meant to pit for a set of soft tires. The plan was to do a quick stint, like a 8-lapper, like a squirt, and then run the mediums to the end. So if that safety car had just happened 1 lap after, because I had like a 20-second gap to P4, I could have just boxed lap 40, rejoined in P4 at normal racing speed, and then I would have only had to have done 1 stop under the safety car onto the medium, and it would have been a lot more effective. So I feel extremely unfortunate that over a 70-lap race, the exact lap I pinpoint to box, the safety car had to come out.
That's mad. That's mad. I was watching it happen and my heart broke for you, to be fair, because you were the commanding winner. Like, I was convinced. But this is Creator Series and things are crazy and we don't always expect 3 or 4 safety cars in the last 15 laps or something. So yeah, obviously with hindsight, if you knew there was going to be more safety cars, maybe things would have been a bit different. But you've got to go with what you do, right? Last week we had no safety cars, so like, if I'm you, I'm also thinking that's probably going to be the only one. And it's coming, mate. It's coming. The momentum's building. You feel it, right? You do feel it. It is coming. Your time will come, Tom.
I hope you're right, mate. I really do.
Yes.
I think today was just one of them ones where if you just get the lucky luck of the draw today. I think obviously Alex had a good race. He managed to get strat/luck timed to perfection with his infamous Creator Series RNG. I want to give credit to Lolly. he was so fast. He was the fastest
Yeah.
driver today by a country mile. Like, he was unbelievable pace. But yeah, I really thought today I was second best on pace. And yeah, I think another day, another time, maybe we get there.
I don't know. I think you are as well, and it can always be worse. Yes, Lolly as well, because he was fast and he got disconnected and everything. So sometimes you just got to take your luck as it is. And you know what? You've had another podium. Basically, every time I've been here recently doing this, I've been talking to you in third place. So you're definitely doing something right. And I think it's only a matter of time. Yes, mate, I'm waiting for this. Okay, I'm waiting for this celebration. Anything you'd like to say, your fans out there, Tom, and any final thoughts for the race?
No, just I appreciate all the support. It was a really good stream on my end today.
Nice.
The chat was buzzing. I think obviously being P1 for the first time in ages and not being washed is good. I think people enjoyed that. And yeah, it's always fun to be at the front. I was, for the first time, really second guessing myself and feeling a bit helpless last time out at Spa. So today being back again was good. It still doesn't fix my issues. The fact that I don't really do well with the battery in this game.
Yeah.
This track wasn't very battery heavy, so you can just basically push and show your true pace. But in those battery heavy tracks, I've got to do a better job.
Yeah, I get that's a fair and valid point, but you've always been good at adapting things, and I'm sure you will get there eventually, and you'll be the best at it. I can't wait to see it, mate. All right, you go enjoy your Saturday night. I'm going to go talk to the rest of the guys. Thank you, especially for the end for you and Meraki, putting on a banging final couple of laps. That was awesome to watch. Well done.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Nah, you take care. All right, let's bring everyone back. Sup, guys? All right, all I can say is genuinely that was banging. Guys in the audience, I really hope you enjoyed that race as well. I know that was from start to finish. There was not a lull moment from me. Absolutely fabulous. Carl, give me your perspective. I'm sure your voice is hoarse, but give me a little bit more.
Cracking race, like absolutely phenomenal race, genuinely. And it's one of those again where you look back at it and it had a sprinkling of everything that we love about Creator Series. It had brilliant battles, it had some bonkers battles, it had carnage, it had safety cars, it had a little bit of everything in there. And of course, the man that comes out on top is Alex Gillen. I mean, credit where credit's due. He drove a flawless race out there today. And that's on a circuit where battery management isn't a huge concern and where you can push 10 bells. And he started at the back. And we do the same sort of thing at Singapore next time out. It's looking quite good for him.
That is right. It doesn't matter if it's battery heavy or not battery heavy. Gillen just seems to be up there consistently, right? It's mad. Tom, from your own perspective, does that race give you what you needed? Because I loved it. Mr. Mute, there's always one of us. There's always one of us.
Richards, yes. He's done it.
I mean, I don't.
Welcome back.
I don't think I deserve to speak now after that. What I was saying, and I've just said to myself, so I'll practice it again. I think it was really interesting to see this precedent that we're seeing of people starting from the back and then going on to win the race continue. I don't know how that's going to carry on for the rest of the season, but yes, there was a little bit of luck involved. Was he the quickest driver out there, Gillen? No, I don't think he was. I think Tom called it perfectly that him and Lolly were a step above everyone else. But it's really interesting seeing how people are figuring out the best ways to go about racing and strategizing and tactically playing it with these cars. Because if you'd have tried that starting from the back in the 25 cars, especially around Hungary, you'd have been absolutely screwed. You'd have had the worst 90 minutes of your entire life. You'd have been miserable. You would have been like Jake was last week, let's be honest. So I think to see the complete flip is really good for the racing, really good for how the championship will go, because we know people are now going to do really different things going into the second half of the season. I think it sets us up really nicely.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Mr. Harris, your thoughts from tonight's event?
First of all, if the drivers can crash at different intervals and not all crash on the same lap, great. That would be really awesome for Clipboard Corner. But honestly, the amount of driving that we saw today, just side-by-side racing, was incredible in terms of just being able to do those overtakes. This is a track where sometimes you think, oh, it's going to be a bit of a dull one because you can't get the moves, the battery's too lenient. Although we saw that some drivers struggled with the battery, a bit like Ben, for example, and it really just laid them out bare effectively where they just couldn't defend. So I think some drivers will be bit like Tom 97. They'll be very happy that this race happened and very sad to see it go, because it goes back to the same old adage, you haven't fixed the problem. So definitely a race that I'll remember for a long time, just for the insanity of the moves that people tried to pull and that outside overtaking action that some drivers were able to pull off. Just perfection, like 2006, as they say.
I love it. I do love a good outside overtake. Yes, Gillen was winning. And Ben was in the bin. Your championship has definitely opened up a bit more. Guys, in the chat, if you've enjoyed this race, kind of hit like, hit follow, let us know your thoughts throughout the entire event. Also, follow us on all the social media channels. You will see some of these behind-the-scenes clips throughout the week, closer look at the battles, and we will obviously keep you up with all the information regarding championship points and race results through then. I've been Scott Taylor. I've been your host tonight. I do all this funny song reviews on social media. If you want to give me a follow, go for it. Carl, if we like you, where can we find you?
First of all, sorry, Josh Richards. Secondly, you will find me. I'll tell you where you can't find me, actually.
Okay.
And that will be dissecting the dastardly and deranged corner names of the Hungaroring, particularly the first 3 turns. What are we doing? But you will find me, though. You'll find me at my name, Carl Paradic, all one word. You'll probably find me there. Just to say, expertly done, everyone. We go again in 2 weeks.
Mr. Tom Wilkinson, if we like you, where can we find you? And also give us your best pronunciation of the final corner name of Hungary, please.
Muted, firstly, is apparently where people can find me. I need to try and get the spelling up again because it looks like somebody's just spat a load of Scrabble letters onto the track. So let me get it again. It's SZISZ. So we'll go with the you've got to have a up and down in it. But Wilkin.com's Instagram, TikTok. Pleasure as always.
Love it. And our Mr. Rally Man himself, John Harris, where can we find you?
Well, you'll find me in 2 weeks' time, probably still doing Clipbook Corner from this race, to be honest. So many incidents happened. But I'm just thinking to myself, that last corner name would be a good name for Pagani. Anyway, you can find me. I can't. I've been thinking that for 20 minutes. I had to say.
Most famously named after the noise you make when you're punched in the stomach.
Yes.
Anyway, you can find me at Is Amusing. Hopefully not punching a Pagani into a tree, as I normally do. There you go.
I love it. And our Mr. Man behind the scenes, Mr. Director, Producer Extraordinaire, Gareth Allen, behind the scenes. Yes, boo him indeed. He has brought you this show. We have all brought you this amazing show tonight. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. We're going to see you next time when Creator Series is back. Will Ben Daly be back, or will it be Alex Gillens for the win? There's only one way to find out. Until next time, take care.